Well, happy Friday, everyone. We are one day closer to spring. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Ron Henry. Welcome to the Ron Henry Lawn Care live stream, where it's all about you guys taking all your questions to help you improve your lawn. So, the show is all about you. I always have some talking points, but again, feel free to chime in at any time with any questions you guys might have, and we'll do our best to get them answered for you. So let's see who we have in the live stream tonight. I mean, Super TA, you gave me the inspiration for the intro because you are right, sir, that we are 1 week closer to spring, and it's nice in Georgia, man. It's I don't know what the temperatures got today. I think it got in the low 60s today, but we've had temps as high as like mid 70s already, and the lawn is beginning to green up. If you guys watch my YouTube stories, you'll see I'm trying to do a video every day. I don't always get a chance to do it. I don't always remember, but you can see how the lawn is greening up really, really nicely. And I've been mowing it. I mowed it yesterday, actually. So it was a lot of fun. So let's see who else we have here in the live stream. We got Lee Farmer's in the house. Emilio saying he should move close to Augusta National and grow some rye. Well, if you move close near me, you're gonna have to grow some Bermuda. I mean, rye's good as a the secondary, but if you're living around here, we got to get you on that Bermuda train, man. Let's see what else. Who else do we have here? We got a question from J.R. Barden. JG's in the house, and Chips and Guac. Very, very cool. All right, so let's get to our first question. I asked a question around when spring officially starts, and JG was breaking it down for me and telling me exactly how it works out. But we got our first question here from JR. He says, Ron just got my soil test done. Very good. Now's the time of year to do it. And he sent it out on Wednesday. I appreciate the help. You're very welcome, sir. I put down another application of Negate today to knock out the Poa. That's a great product for that. And I'm gonna pick up my Tru-Cut C27 on Monday. Should I go ahead and scalp? It's up to you. I mean, I've already scalped. I mean, I'm done. I'm ready to go. My Tru-Cut actually has to go in for service. I need to see if I can get some time on Pat's what's the name, Keystone's calendar to get mine taken in to get it all tuned up. But yeah, my lawn is ready to go. It is took it down just below half an inch, so we're good to go. And the videos you guys are seeing, like the one that I actually did today, was post scalping, so it's all set. So it's up to you. I mean, if you scalp now, I mean, I think you're in Georgia, JR, so you're getting the same temperatures that I'm getting, so it's really your call. The big thing with scalping is it allows you to get to green up a little bit sooner. So 2 to 3 weeks is what most people say is when you can expect to, as far as the boost you're going to get in green up by scalping. So it's worth it. It also gets rid of a lot of the dead material, that brown top growth. It just kind of stimulates growth. So since we're getting the warm weather now, I would go ahead and do it, but it's kind of up to you. It's up to you. And you have a follow-up question here, and you said if I scalp right after getting my Tru-Cut service, well, I need to get it sharpened again afterwards. I mean, if you could do it before getting your mower service, that would be ideal. Because scalping is pretty hard on your equipment. I mean, you do beat it up quite a bit by scalping, especially if you get down. If you only cut grass, it's not so bad, right? But if you take it down really low to where you're getting into any kind of soil, any kind of dirt, turf, you're going to dull the real, you're gonna take the edge off of it, right? And it's not going to cut as good as if you hadn't done that. So if it were me, I would scalp and then take your mower in for service. I wouldn't do the opposite. I mean, you can tell you, here's what you can do. If you get it already scalped, so you're picking it up. So if you're getting it back from service and it's already, you already pretty much have sent it in. Go ahead and do your scalp and then check it. Like, get a piece of paper, like a piece of printer paper, something like this, and then fold it in half and put it between the reel and bed knife. Wear gloves when you do this because you don't want you to cut your hands, and see if it still cuts paper. If it does, you're good to go. And if not, then you might want to consider taking it in for service. Definitely taking it in for service. And Daryl, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in to hang out. I appreciate it. Happy Friday. And of course, I have to acknowledge JG's comment, because I asked earlier in the live stream before the show started, is this technically the first Friday of spring? And, I had to get like a very complete answer. So she says that, officially March 20th is spring equinox, but meteorological spring is March 1st to May 31st. So I'm going to take the one that says that today is spring, and we're going to go with that one. So today's like the first Friday, I think, of spring. Yeah, a week hasn't gone by since March. And let's see what else we got here. So we have a question or a point here from Grace. She said she received her soil test kit she won the live stream. I'm awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Grace. Glad you got it. Glad I got to you. You said thanks. You're very welcome. I'm waiting on the results of the soil test I did last week from Yard Mastery. Very cool. Nice, nice. Yeah, man. So when you get that back, that's the beautiful thing about soil testing. I know a lot of people, some people say you should do it, some people say you shouldn't. I'm a huge fan of it because it's like literally getting the answers to the test. Like, fertilizer is expensive. A lot of the products you apply to your lawn can be pretty expensive, and soil testing allows you to, intelligently make informed decisions about what you're applying to your lawn, which is, I think is very, very valuable. So very, very good. I'm glad that you got it and that you are good to go. On the topic of applying things to your lawn, I'm not sure how many of you guys follow me on Instagram. I've got a relatively small following because unlike actual smart YouTubers, I actually didn't start my Instagram actively until this year, so it's still kind of growing. But something fun has happened in the past week. You guys know last year I did a lot of work as far as applying carbon to my lawn, as far as using like a lot of products from Mirimichi Green, like CarbonPro G, and some of their other products like Release Zero, 901C. And in the background, I've been working with them saying, this year I want to use these products. I want to continue to use them, and I also want to have them featured in my course. But I want to have something available that I can actually. It's no good if if I'm talking about something all the time and you guys can't get it. Like, honestly, it's frankly kind of irritating, right? It's almost like the person that has like the 1 of 10 cars in the world. If you don't know how many of you guys are car guys, but the person has like 1 of 10, and it's really cool to look at, but you can never own one. So it's kind of like that with. How I felt like last year's lawn season was for me, in the sense that I had a lot of really, really great products that I was a huge fan of, loved them, but there wasn't an easy way for you guys to get hold of them until now. So again, let me cut over here to the Golf Course Lawn Store. You guys can now get Mirimichi Green products. Like I'm only carrying the ones that I'm actually going to use, but I mean, if there's other ones that you guys really like, let me know. I can see if I can get them added. But the products that are going to be on the store now that you can order today, right now, are Release Zero, which is their 10% micronized carbon product, Nutri-Kelp, which is their kelp product, and then finally Biospectrum. So Biospectrum is like a microbial package that, again, if you think about the way like fertilization works, right? You apply your fertilizer to the lawn, it's healthy microbes that break that down and make them available for uptake by the grass. And then because CarbonPro G is practically impossible to get, outside of going to Site 1, because it's a product that is exclusive to Site 1, Mirimichi Green has started making this, which is Essential G. It's an interesting comparison product or comparable product to CarbonPro G. We got face back up here, but you guys can check that out. If you guys go to Golf Course Lawn Store, you can follow along. But one of the questions that I got already whenever I posted on Instagram and also on YouTube is that is it are they comparable? And the short answer is yes. I mean the formulations are slightly different, but the products are very, very comparable. If we actually look at the label here, I can actually go through this with you guys really quick just to show you. I mean, you can always look it online yourself, but as far as like what's in it, right? So you look at like CarbonPro G, which is half biochar, half compost. 45% thereabouts of Essential G are various types of compost. So you've got 35% poultry compost, 10% swine compost, and then 10% biochar. But unlike CarbonPro G, let me come back here, get my face back. Unlike CarbonPro G, it also has a lot more humic acid. So whereas CarbonPro G only has like trace elements of humates, this has 5%. And it also contains something that they've been playing with is adding silicon to that's actually only in Essential G. CarbonPro G doesn't have that. So there's a lot of benefits to the product. The final 35% of the product is made up of reclaimed coffee grounds. So again, if you are looking for something that is comparable, that is a great substitute, there you go. You can get it on the store now. Personally, if you have a Site 1 nearby, I would still go to Site 1 and get CarbonPro G because one, you're going to save money on shipping, and the two products. I'm not saying that one is necessarily better than the other. I'd say they're comparable, they're equivalent, but you'll just save money on shipping if you've got a Site 1 nearby. If you don't have a Site 1 or you want it delivered to your door, you can simply go to the Golf Course Lawn Store and you can get your very own bag of CarbonPro G of Essential G. One bag of that covers 5,000 square feet. All right, so now that's out of the way. I think I've covered most of everything I wanted to say about that. Oh, actually, no, one last thing, and then I promise we'll just get to questions. I just wanted to get this out of the way before we got too far in the live stream. So as a way for you guys to save money, There's also kits, so you can buy the products individually. So you can do like Release Zero, Nutri-Cut by itself, Biospectrum by itself. But there's also a kit that I've actually had them put together for a 5,000 square foot lawn and then a 10,000 square foot lawn. So what this gets you is 3 applications for the year. So if you decide you're going to start applying it now, like you're going to get, you can start applying, say, April, May, June, or you can wait 3 more months and do, June, August, starting from June and then moving on. It's your choice, but it's a way to save some money and get like 3 applications. Or you can buy the 10,000 square foot lawn package and just go, get 6 applications. So a couple different ways to skin it. The kits allow you to save a little bit of money. So that's something else I wanted to put together because I didn't want you to have to go out and buy each piece themselves because it's a little bit more expensive that way. So the kits are a great deal if that's what you, if you are looking to add carbon to your program. That's what I would do. And I'm going to create videos on how to mix all this stuff, how to use it and everything. That's going to be coming here hopefully next week. But yeah, I want to share that with you guys. I'm pretty excited about it. So I don't have to hear anymore. Oh, it's really cool. You always have all this cool stuff you're putting on your lawn, but we can't get it. Now you can get it. So awesome. Let's see who else we got in the house here. Mark rubbing it in our face saying it's 83 degrees in Phoenix and his stolons are already blooming. I'm going to be right behind you here, Mark. I mean, it's probably going to be April before we get temperatures in the 80s, but we are not too far. We're not too far back behind you, but yeah, I'm sure you are going full force there in Phoenix, Arizona. That's pretty awesome. All right, next question we have here is from Braden Bear. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. He says he just bought a McLean. First of all, before we even get to the rest of the question, we got to give it up for that. I mean, a new reel mower has been brought home, guys. He says, any suggestions on transitioning from rotary to reel? So it depends on your grass type. I think I asked you what kind of grass you have. And you said you have 3.5, 3.25 bluegrass and rye. So here's the thing. I don't have bluegrass or ryegrass, so I can't tell you the best way to transition from 3.5 down to a lower height of cut. I can tell you with Bermuda, a couple ways you can do it. You can either work your way down slowly, or you can just simply scalp the lawn or cut the lawn, or do what's called a height of cut reset, where you cut the lawn just below the height that you want to maintain it at, kind of like a scalp, and just go from there. I don't know if bluegrass and rye will tolerate that. So what I would suggest is the one way I know I'm not going to mess up your lawn is to just work your way down. Like say every week, just lower the height of cut a little bit at a time until you get to the height of cut that you're after. That's the safest way to go. That is also not going to damage your lawn, or damage your grass. But congratulations on the McLean, man, on the reel mower. It's gonna be different. As far as I'm not sure if you had any follow-up questions, but one thing that you often hear people say is, do you need to top dress or have your lawn smooth before you go to reel mower? The answer is no. If you're trying to go super low, like under an inch, like 3/4 of an inch or lower, that's when top dressing really becomes more of a thing. But if just you're going to start cutting, you can just start moving your height of cut down till you get to the height of cut that you're after. And again, congratulations. I'm pretty excited for you. You are going to love the way your lawn looks. Let's see, another question here from Joshua Chasing. He says, any tips to help a recently scalped zoysia lawn start filling out? It was green when I scalped it down to 3/4 of an inch last weekend, and I'm a little nervous about weeds, particularly torpedo grass. So to get it start filling out. Well, here's the thing, Joshua. You said you have a zoysia lawn, so we're still early in the season, man. But the heat hasn't really come in yet, so I say just give it time. I mean, by end of March, early April, when we start getting consistent heat, because right now we're getting the highs of the day are like in the 60s, sometimes getting in the 70s, but the lows are still dropping into the 40s at night, right? So when we're getting consistent temps that are higher, that is when you'll see the zoysia really green back up and take off and should do well. And if you're cutting it, you're maintaining it at 3/4 inch, like you're saying, that should do a pretty good job choking out or making it more difficult for the weeds to compete. So awesome. Yeah, great. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Let's see what other points we got here. Brett giving me a hard time. Always good for that. Is this the Ron Henry live stream? It's more like, I was telling you, Brett, the only person that gets to put the "the" in is I always say is Alan, Lawn Care Nut. But yeah, man, I'm glad. Thanks for coming to hang out tonight. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming to hang out. Let's see what other questions we have here. Brett says, yeah, I hear some exciting things happening on the golf course lawn. Yes, sir, there are. And there's more to come next weekend, hopefully by next weekend, maybe earlier. Have another announcement for you guys that you might like. So you probably will like. Some of you guys will like it. So yeah, stay tuned. Lots of fun stuff happening. I just want to get rid of the whole you know, you guys can't use the same stuff that I'm using, or I can't get it easily, or it's a pain. Like, I want to eliminate all of that as much as I possibly can. So I'm excited where things are happening this season. All right, let's see a question we have here from Lewis. He says, on a Bermuda lawn, can I put down granular fertilizer and insect killer at the same time? Yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be an issue with that. Lewis, there shouldn't be a problem with putting on your granular fert and insect killer. So the one thing I might look out for is with fertilizer, ideally you want to water it in after applying it, and some insect killers, depending on how they work, they may or may not want to be watered in. So you might just look at that, check the labels, and see if the insect killer is going to tolerate water. Because I know some of them, like I think like Advion fire ant bait, like you really don't want to get that one wet. Like you lose a lot of the effectiveness of it if you like drench it. So just depending on the insecticide you're using, read the label, and then from there, go from there. Great question though. All right, Osas Konar says he just got his McLean reel mower today. So excited! Congratulations, sir! Congratulations on getting a new mower. Let's see what else we have here. All right, cool. On the lawn training. This is, hey Ron, any updates on the Poa in Alex's lawn after spraying with the image a month ago? Yes. So I've got some footage on my phone. I got some pictures on my phone, and what I'll do is I'll do a post. Showing you what they look like. Actually, if you guys see the post that I did on Negate, like when I said, hey, we just sprayed Negate on his lawn, like if you look at those pictures, all those pictures were taken right before we sprayed Negate on the Poa. So the long short of it was, it did yellow it up quite a bit. Like the Poa was beginning to really fall back. We were about 4 weeks from the time we had applied the image. So it was doing its thing, but with the temperatures warming up, and Alex really wanted to get going with mowing and just to kind of get the weeds cleaned up. He just started manually weeding, and we put down Negate to in a week or two just to finish the job and get it done here quickly. So, like I said, image is a good product. It just takes 3 to 5 weeks to work. So it's just slower, but it was effective, and I've got pictures on my phone. I will make it a point to put those up. I'll make a post about that so you guys can see what they look like. I'll do both. I'll put it on YouTube and also do a post on Instagram showing that. So, but great question on the lawn training. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me of that, keeping me honest. And if you guys are enjoying the live stream, be sure to tap the like button ever so gently as you sit down with your glass of lemonade or your beverage of choice. Really appreciate it. Sends good vibes to the algorithm and helps more people come in and watch the show. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would do that. Let's see what else we have here. So we have a question. Let's have a question from Emilio. He says, I honestly think I'm thinking about a full renovation of my front lawn, 1,200 square feet here in Buffalo. Have you succeeded renovating in the spring? I can't wait till fall. So I'm guessing you have a cool season lawn, Emilio. I am not the person to ask that. I know that the go time for cool season guys is in the fall, so that to me that would be the time to go out and do that. I don't know that you'd really want to do it in the spring. I don't know if you can even pull it off successfully in the spring. If I had to guess, I'd say the reason why they suggest against that and why you'd probably want to wait for the fall is the same reason why you don't really want to seed Bermuda in the fall. I mean, you can do it, you can probably get it to germinate, but what you're going to run into is there's not as much time for the grass to really root and get established before cold temperatures get in, which might make you lose some of the seed you put down. In the case of Bermuda, so it's the same thing now for a cool season. If you were to put down like a cool season weeds, I'm not calling your grass weeds, seeds now, and then we get into summer heat, you might lose some of it due to the higher temperatures. So I would probably stick with conventional wisdom on that and wait to the fall. But check out some of the other YouTubers that have that actually specialize in cool season and see what they say. But I think that I think the best bet is probably going to be to wait till the fall if it were me. All right, Curtis Jenner says today was such a good day. I was out in the lawn, continuing to clean up before the green up. I like it. I'm about 15% green, slowly but surely. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. Even though your lawn's not fully green yet, Curtis, you got the right idea. Because like for me in the off season, there's a lot of things that I really hate doing that I took the time to get done. Like I cleaned up shrubs. I had a drainage issue on the front of the house and also on the side. That way, every time it rained, it would mulch all into the lawn and make a huge mess. So I took that time to get those kinds of things done. So it's a good idea. Now is a good time to get the stuff done that you don't really like doing, so that whenever your lawn fully greens up, all you have to do is the fun stuff, which is mow, which is cool, right? So awesome. Thanks for letting me know. All right, Caleb Phillips has a question here. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron." Happy Friday, Caleb. Sorry. He says, "Just got my 220E. I think that's a John Deere. So pumped for this season. Are you considering a walk behind sprayer for PGR, or are you content?" I'm pretty good with my my flow zone. Between the flow zone and the Chapin, I'm pretty good. With the size of my lawn, it takes me 3 backpacks for 3 tankfuls to do the entire lawn, so it's not too bad. The big thing is with the walk behind sprayer. Like, I've seen some really cool setups that go like in the Lescos. You buy like the Lesco, the big Mac Daddy spreader, and you can buy this tank that drops in. But one thing, they're like $1,000 or expensive. They're over $1,000 all in when you factor in the cost of the spreader as well too. But then also I had to find somewhere to put it, because that's a lot bigger than my Earthway. And so it's like another piece of equipment that I've got to find somewhere to put. And honestly, I'm just getting really good results with the flow zone. So I haven't really seen a need to complicate things and change it up. So I'll continue to use the flow zone. But yeah, I mean, you never know if someone else gets one of them. If someone wants to send me one, even if you send me one just to review it, and then I'll send it back to you, or whatever, or give it away to somebody, I'm happy to do that. But I really don't need another big sprayer, because I am too I'm good on lawn equipment. If I can somehow get my hands on a verticutter at a reasonable price, that might be the only piece of lawn equipment that I consider. But no more mowers really, and definitely not another sprayer. All right, Gabriel Harry in the house. What's up, Gabriel? How's it going? Okay, so we have a question here from Everton Gardner, and I'm trying to do a little better for going a little faster tonight, guys. So I know last time I left some of you guys hanging, so I'm trying to go a little faster on my responses. All right, he says, "I think I scalped too early. What can I do to fix it?" Time. Just give it time. There's not a ton. I mean, when you say you scalp too early, if you have Bermuda and you're in the southeast, just give it time. It's gonna green up. As soon as heat gets here, it's gonna bounce back, Everton. So nothing really to worry about. What you can do is, if you haven't as yet done one, get a soil test done and see like what's missing in your lawn, if anything. And then based on that, you can start feeding some nitrogen to your lawn to begin, make sure it has what it needs to do well. Again, I'm answering this question as if you are in Georgia. I don't know where in the country you are, but I'm assuming you're in Georgia. If you're in Georgia, get a soil test done, and then you can start feeding nitrogen to your lawn. Like I've already sprayed liquid fert on my lawn already once. I've done like the Release Zero and Turfplex combination. I put that down. And next week I'll do my second one, because from here on out I'm going to be spoon feeding the lawn. I'm going to be putting down like half rate every 2 weeks of the liquid, and then the granular that I'm going to be using, you guys should hopefully find out next week. You guys will see all that. So I'm going to do a combination thing between granular and liquid, and I'll have a video on that explaining all that for those of you that are interested in it. But the short answer to your question, Everton, is to just wait. It's gonna be, if it's Bermuda, I promise it's gonna be fine. Just give it some time. Manuel Alvarez in the house. What's going on? Kevin, what's up, man? How's it going? Let's see what else we have here. Andy's Lawn Care, he says, "What's going on, Ron? Snow is melting fast in Chicago. Hopefully 3 to 4 weeks from now, I'll be able to do my first mow and pre-emergent." That'd be cool. That would be nice. Oh, and I just saw JG again, and in honor of JG, you guys are probably seeing I'm wearing a different shirt today. I got a new shirt. I got, because Josh Habib sent me that shirt 2 weeks ago. The Stripe Action 2.0 shirt. So I went ahead and got another shirt design done, because I always talk about the 3 things you got to get right. You got to have a lot of sunlight for Bermuda anyway. Good sunlight, good soil, and then lots of mowing. So I got a new shirt, and it's sunlight, soil, and stripe action, man, and mowing. So these shirts are available now on the store in case you're interested. If anyone that wants a shirt, you just go to youtube.com/Ron Henry/store, and you can pick it up there. I don't think I have it in my I don't have any notes here on that as yet. But yeah, I'll put a link here in a second if you guys are interested in that. And Josh Habib, who's never one to be outdone, he sent me this picture, so I told him I would show it on the live stream. This guy's super hardcore. So let me see. This is the first Josh pick. Josh has the first of these shirts. As soon as I told him about it, he went out and got one. So if you guys wonder what Josh looks like, That's him. He's rocking his My Soul hat. So he's all set for the show tonight. And then he's got of course, the vintage stripe action shirt. So thank you so much, Josh. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for being the wild man that you are. I really, really appreciate it. It's cool to see someone else wearing the merchandise. It's pretty cool. All right. So Christina Phillips says, thanks for the info on Dallisgrass. Remind everyone that if you have landscapers, they need to disinfect the blades of the mower before mowing your yard. Yeah, that's a good one, Christina. I think that's part of why I don't have as much issues with my lawn as far as weeds go, because really my mower only really runs on my lawn. It runs on my lawn and occasionally on Alex's lawn. So it's two lawns that are controlled that I know it's on them. And you make a really good point about like mowers transferring weeds or transferring things from lawn to lawn. And yeah, I'm glad that was useful on Dallisgrass. Dallisgrass is nasty, man. It's one of the worst types of weeds to have in your lawn. I mean, it's so bad that one of my friends he owns a spray business, so he does lawn chemicals for a living, and he says literally he won't even take on lawns that have Dallisgrass in them because it's so difficult to take care of. Like you have to almost dig it out to truly get rid of it. Like pretty much most herbicides you look at for Dallisgrass will just suppress it, but as far as like killing it, getting it gone, it's just nasty, man. It is like the Bermuda of weeds. It's like practically impossible to get rid of once you got it. It's not easy at all. But hopefully the advice I gave you is useful. And be sure, like I told you, if you decide to go forward with that, make sure you wear your PPE, gloves, everything if you go ahead and do what we were talking about via email. All right. Mr. Lushlon says, first timer here, great content. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much for trusting me with a little bit of your time on Friday night. I am really happy about that. Let's see here. We have a question from John Gotch. He says, Ron, when is a good time to start cranking up the sprinkler system on a regular basis? I mean, John, I think if I remember, you are in Louisiana, I think, right? So, I mean, it's, right now it's probably still too early. When the grass is actively growing, so when the lawn's all greened up, and you're starting to get temps, daily temps 75, 80 degrees, maybe then. But right now, I have no plans to run irrigation until like late March. I mean, unless I'm watering something in, I don't really have any plans to run it because there's just not a whole reason to do it. And also, literally, when I walk out on my lawn, because it's crazy, like how much moisture the lawn holds on to, like how good a job it does holding on to moisture. Like even if I walk out there at like say 10 o'clock with socks on in the morning, and yeah, it's not weird that I walk on my lawn with socks on because I mean I'm sure you guys do that too. The socks get damp, they get wet. When I walk back onto the patio, they're still they like will leave marks. So my lawn retains a lot of moisture. A lot of that's probably due to the fact that I've been putting down like granular carbon every month. Ever since last year. So just the ability of the lawn to hold on to moisture is definitely a lot better. But to answer your question, John, I would wait till, not just yet, I'd say late March, early April is when I would do it. And again, remember for Bermuda, which I think is what you have if memory serves me, an inch of water per week is really all you need. An inch and a half. That's it. And really, if you can get that done in like a couple of sessions, that would be ideal. That's the way to go. So don't run irrigation too much because it can create problems, and it's just expensive. You're just wasting water. Bermuda doesn't really need a lot of it, especially if you focus on creating really good soil. Travis Watson, he says, "What's up, Golf Course Lawn Squad?" What's up, Travis? I like that, Golf Course Lawn Squad. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so B. Gaines is chiming in. He says, located in Conyers, Georgia, I received my soil test results today, low on calcium and magnesium, considering putting down pro pellets next week with my CarbonPro G. That's a good idea, B. Gaines. Yeah, so as far as whenever you decide to go with calcitic or dolomitic lime, if your soil test results are showing that your magnesium levels are low, and your pH as well, because you're trying to correct acidic soil, that is when the dolomitic makes sense, because that has a much higher percentage of magnesium. So it sounds like you're on the right track. The Pro Pellets is good stuff. If you have a Site 1, you're in Conyers, there's probably a Site 1 nearby there. If you go by there and pick it up, you've seen the bag. Just look at my video. It's got a blue label with a golfer on the front. That's a really good one because I like the fact that prill is really small. Like it goes down really nicely in the spreader. Once you water it in, it breaks up and dissipates really nicely. It's a really, really good product. It's not that expensive either. You can get it for like under $10 a bag. So yeah, good to hear that you got your soil test done and that you are gonna start amending the soil. So it's pretty awesome. All right. Moro Masilio says, hey, what's going on, Ron? The guys at Site 1 say hi. Hey, what's going on? He says, I picked up 2 CarbonPro G bags and a 50-pound Let's Go spreader. Nice, dude. You ain't hardcore. Nice. Let's Go spreader. I'm jealous. Let's Go spreaders. The 50 pounds are nice, man. That's one thing with Let's Go. They don't build bad products. You know. So you got 2 really good things. You got the CarbonPro G and you got a way to apply it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's nice. It's funny. My local Site 1 has told me that a lot more people are buying CarbonPro G. That they come in there just looking for it. A lot of residential people, which is pretty exciting, and I'm glad that you guys are taking advantage of that. Even though I make absolutely nothing on it, I know some of you guys think I'm affiliated with Site 1. I can assure you that I am not. At some point, just to kind of put that to bed, I'm gonna round up all of my Site 1 receipts for buying CarbonPro G and add them to the blog, so you guys can see that hey, I'm buying the stuff just like you guys are. I just really like the product, so that is why I talk about it so much. All right, what other questions do we have here? A question from Jordan. I'm not sure I'm going to get much help on this one, Jordan. Some of you guys might have to help chime in on this one. He says, what's up, Ron? Thanks for answering all my questions lately around prodiamine. You're very welcome, sir. I developed a huge rabbit problem now that has damaged a lot of my lawn. Any advice on how to get rid of them? That's a good question. I am not a huge pest guy. I'm not sure how to get rid of the rabbits. And rabbits are so cute. I don't know if I really want to give you advice on how to get rid of them. I mean, I will tell you, there's a rabbit that likes to go in my mulch bed and make a mess, and well, I don't know why they go in there for using the bathroom or whatever, but they'll sit there and they'll kick the mulch out and make a mess. But I just move it back in. But long and short of your question is, I don't have an answer to that one. I'm not sure how you would get rid of rabbits. So I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you on that one. So maybe someone in the chat that knows how to has an answer for that can chime in and help Jordan out. Let's see. Mr. Love 0912 says, is there a CarbonPro G product on your golf course lawn store? Yes, there is. I think I showed it earlier, but maybe you weren't in, Mr. Love. It is this one. Let me go back here. It's called Essential G. So this guy here. This is the equivalent of CarbonPro G, and you can get this shipped to your house. And it's a great product. I mean, it's got some stuff in it that CarbonPro G doesn't have. But again, I'm not gonna, I will do a video comparing the two of them, but it's not. I want to not even get into the point where we're going back and forth about which is better, which is worse. Waging that battle, because they are both excellent products. Literally, they're really, really good. You can put either one on your lawn, you're gonna get great results. But if you go to golfcourselawn.store, Essential G is on there, and you can order it today. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for asking. All right, BJ Gaines says he scalped my front yard last week. Plan to scalp the rear tomorrow. Sandman in April to top dress mid-April. That's awesome, man. Nice. Yeah, I know. What's his name? Richard, and the crew at Sandman that do top dressing. It's cool. I'm surprised. So April, that's a touch early, but I mean, that's gonna be fine. I mean, your lawn's still gonna come back just fine. The nice thing about doing it a little bit earlier in the season is that you have plenty of time to recover, and your lawn's gonna be looking gorgeous. By the time 4th of July rolls around, 4th of July weekend, domination weekend, you're gonna be looking good, man. The lawn should be fully recovered from top dressing, and you should be good to go. It's pretty awesome. Okay. A question here from Kevin Sheehan. He says, hey, Ron, you say CarbonPro G has a microbial package. Is it in the ingredients, or is it a separate package that you add to CarbonPro G? Great question. So Kevin, no. So it is in CarbonPro G. I don't have it here where I can pull it up, but if you look at the ingredients, you're going to see it's 47% compost, 47% biochar, like a tenth of a percent humic acid, and then it's going to list the microbial package, the bacteria package that's actually in CarbonPro G. So it's actually in there. That's part of why I included the Biospectrum product in the kit, because that's another way, a great way to add a lot of healthy bacteria to your lawns. Both it's bacteria food and actually bacteria to help feed the soil, which is awesome. So yeah, but great question. Yeah. So it's built in. Okay, we'll see what other questions we have here. Let's see. Bermuda Brian going back and forth with B Gaines about I guess a question about his top dressing work. And then let's see. Brett chimed in. I think this is the question about the gentleman had about lowering his Cut. He says, just go for it. No need to step down. So there you go. Brett Grasscapade hath spoken. Brett, here's the thing. Brett is kind of a unicorn in the lawn care space in the sense that him and Alan kind of, in the sense that Brett has had a cool season lawn that looked fabulous. And now he's come down to start dominating the Bermuda game too. So definitely listen to him when it comes to rye or cool season grass, because he's done both. He's had a really good cool season lawn, and he's definitely working on building out an awesome Bermuda lawn. So there you go. He's telling me, like, I see him chatting. He says, "No, you don't need to do it that way. Just take it all down." All right. So yeah. So here you go. So Brett says this. If it does not go well, this is not my fault. But Brett says he went from 3 inches to 3/4 of an inch in a day when he took the plunge. So there you go. You have a man, the wild man of real mowing, cool season and warm season. He has said it is safe. He has blessed going from 3 inches to 0.75 in one setting. There you go. There's your answer. See? Pretty awesome. All right. So a question here from Siddharth Shakari says, "Hey Ron, Tru-Cut that I bought doesn't pass the paper test. Will it still scalp my lawn, or will I need to get it sharpened?" Yeah, it'll still scalp. It'll definitely still scalp, Siddharth. That shouldn't be an issue. But I would then go in and take it sharpened and get it sharpened afterwards. There's a couple of reasons why a reel mower won't necessarily pass the paper test. It's not always because the reel and bed knife are dull, like on the Greensmaster. And same thing for the Tru-Cut, but it's a little more complicated to do on a Tru-Cut. The reel to bed knife clearance, if that as the reel or bed knife wear from just being used, there's a little bit of a clearance that will begin to form there, and that's going to hurt your ability for it to cut paper. So with the Greensmaster, most Greensmower, there's an adjustment. There's adjustment on the front. There's it's on the bed bar that allows you to basically bring the bed bar or the bed knife slightly closer to the reel in very, very, very small increments, so you can get it cutting paper again. And the Tru-Cut, you can do the same thing, but it's a little bit more complicated. But to answer the question you asked, there should be no issue. You're still going to be able to scalp your lawn. Once you scalp, take it in and get it taken care of, and they will set all that stuff for you. They'll sharpen it, and they'll also set all the clearances to where all you have to do is cut grass and enjoy that stripe action. Pretty good, great question. Great question. So, Brett, thank you so much for chiming in, sir. I really appreciate it on how to go take a cool season lawn down. Splash is hashtag take the plunge. There you go. It's a great idea for a T-shirt. on as far as like lowering your Cut. Great. Thank you so much, Brett. All right. Let's see. Question here from Helmut Ruckus. He says, "After putting down an application of fertilizer, how long should you wait until you can put down another application? Empire Zoysia here in South Florida." That is a great question, Helmut. So, depending on your grass type, I'll use Bermuda as an example, but I mean, it should be similar for Zoysia. I think Zoysia actually requires a little less nitrogen than Bermuda does, but we'll use this as an example, right? So, Bermuda requires, or conventional wisdom says Bermuda requires a pound of nitrogen per month, right? When it's actively growing. That's what you need to give it per month. So let's say that we'll say at the beginning of March, where like Bermuda is already growing, everything, we're all happy, like it's a super, super hot March and we're going, right? So you put down close to that 1 pound of nitrogen. The way you know that is based on you take the pounds of the fertilizer that you're applying to your lawns per 1,000 square feet, and multiply that by the percentage of that product that's nitrogen. That will let you know like how much nitrogen you're putting on your lawn. So a good example, let's take like the product from Yardmaster, like that triple 12, the triple 12 product that's on my site. I'll use this as an example. That's a great question. So let me get here and I'll actually show you. Make sure I can do this right on the fly and not mess up the math and embarrass myself. Here we go. All right, so this product is 12% nitrogen, 12% phosphorus, 12% potassium, right? So if we decide we're going to put this down at 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet, right? 12% of that 3 pounds is nitrogen. So if we take 3 and we multiply that by 0.12, we're putting down only 0.36 pounds of nitrogen by applying it at the 3 pound rate. If we up that to say, let's say 5 pounds, now we're at like 0.6 pounds of nitrogen at that rate. So based on the amount of nitrogen in the product or in the fertilizers you're using and the rate at which you're applying it, so the amount of pounds of that product you're applying per 1,000 square feet, you can figure out how much nitrogen you're putting in the lawn. So again, if we use the conventional wisdom of 1 pound of nitrogen per month, and you do that. Let's say in this case, you got that product, the 12, you put down like 0.6, right? So you're well under that 1 pound per month rate. You could fertilize, you could add 12% nitrogen. You could continue to use that fertilizer monthly if you wanted to for your nitrogen needs. Again, this is not a great example because you really shouldn't be applying phosphorus to your lawn every month unless you actually need it. But let's say this were a 12-0-0, right? So we're only nitrogen. Let's use that as an example. In that case, and you could simply just keep applying it at that 5 pounds, and you'd be putting down 0.6 pounds of nitrogen per month, if that makes sense. So the short answer, the best way to answer your question is you have to do a little bit of math to figure that out, and based on your grass type, knowing how much your grass type calls for. But if you stick to that, 0.7 to a pound per month of nitrogen, you're gonna be pretty good. And if you're doing that, you should be good to go. Now, you can kind of go down a rabbit hole on this, whether or not you get into if you're using like a slow release or a quick release fertilizer, that can also influence this too. What I do to kind of help answer your question is I'm going to be using a granular fertilizer that is about 35% slow release. So the majority of it is going to be quick release nitrogen, right? So it's 65% like nitrogen should release over the course of a month fairly easily, right? I'm gonna get most of my nitrogen from that. I'm gonna put down about half a pound or thereabouts using that granular product. To supplement that, to get closer to that, 0.8 pounds of nitrogen where I like to run my lawn, I'm going to be using this product, which is a liquid. So it's I'm going to be using Turfplex, and I'm going to be applying this at some spoon feeding. It's going to be 3 ounces per 1,000 square feet every 2 weeks. And what that equates to, 6 ounces every 2 weeks. And what that equates to is an additional 0.2 pounds of nitrogen over the course of the month. So I'm getting close to that, 0.7, 0.8 pounds of nitrogen per month. So I know it was kind of a long drawn out answer, but the easy way to answer is to say it depends, but I want to tell you why it depends. So for a Zoysia lawn, again, I don't know off the top of my head what Zoysia requires. I think it's around a pound, probably similar to Bermuda, but it depends on the fertilizer you're using to know how often you need to apply it. So if you need some help with it, shoot me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Let me know what fertilizer you're using, and I'll be able to tell you. We'll be able to work it out, like how much of it you need to be applying per 1,000 square feet, and you should be good to go. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Great question. I haven't been asked that one before. That's a good one. That is a good one. Let's see what other questions here. Brett is like, hit it with fert, it'll be fine. Let's see what else what other questions we have here. So Daniel says, high nitrogen, no phosphorus, low potassium. Need a jump start fert. Would you recommend Yard Mastery 12 or PGF balanced 10? I'd have to look at your soil test results to know for sure, Daniel. It's your call. It's your call. I mean, I really like the Yard Mastery fert because in addition to it being having NPK in it, it also has all the micronutrients, which is kind of cool, right? So what you find a lot of times in starter ferts is you can typically get NPK, and you might get one that has NPK and a little bit of iron, but it's rare to find one that has NPK and literally every single micronutrient. The more obscure ones like the boron and copper, like this guy has all of them. So if you haven't bought one yet, this is probably what I would go with. You can it's available at the Golf Course Lawn store. I'm not just saying that because it's on my that's on my store. You don't have to buy it from me. You can get it from Alan from Yard Master if you want. But I mean, if it were me between the two, this is probably the one that I would go with. But really, if you don't mind, send me your soil test results. Let me look at them, and we can make sure that we're putting the right thing down. But that's my take without seeing your soil test results, because I like the fact that that product also has a nice micronutrient stack as well. All righty here. Let's see what other questions we have. So Siddharth chimes back in. He says, I put some Vigoro granular pre-emergent February 22nd. I got Barricade 2. Well, it'd be crazy to put that down too. It's been windy here in Georgia, so I couldn't put down my liquid prodiamine. So here's the thing, guys. You don't need to go crazy on the pre-emergent. Like if you're putting down a granular, if you put down a granular pre-emergent like the 007 that you guys saw in the video I did Monday at the Real Rollers Turf Park, like if you're putting that down and you put it down at rate, you're good to go. Like there's no reason to go overboard and you're putting down liquid prodiamine and granular prodiamine. You can split it up. You can do it if you want. Like if you want to apply a granular, you said on February 22nd, if you did that at a lower rate, so you didn't go at a super heavy rate onto prodiamine, and you want to do like your second application like in early May, like the split app kind of way of doing things, and you want to use a liquid for that, that's fine. But what I don't want you guys to be doing is to go like, full rate on a granular and then go full rate on liquid, because now you're not really, you're going heavy, you're putting it down way too heavy, right? And there's really just no need to do it. And you can introduce problems in your lawn if you do that. So if you've already put down the Vigoro, I'm not really familiar with the Vigoro Sidar to know exactly what's in that one. I'd have to look and see. But if it's a pre-emergent and you put it down at rate, I would not put down another one just yet. Maybe in May, if it actually calls for it. All right, let's see what other questions we have going on here. B Gain says, should I wait to put down Caravan G fungicide until after top dressing next month? No, not really. I would put that. It's a little bit early for Caravan G. B Gains. So the Caravan G is a combination product, right? You have the insecticide and the fungicide. The insecticide part of it isn't as critical as the fungicide or fungicide, depending on how you pronounce it. I would wait till late April, early May to apply Caravan G. I wouldn't do that. Definitely not yet, not quite yet. And as far as if it matters whether you've top dressed or not, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. You need to water the product in after you put it down. So yeah, no issues there. What other questions we have? For Lawn Father's chiming in, he says, "What's up?" He says, "Sorry you're late, but you're here, man. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in." Chad Shepard says, would cutting it at 1/2 inch help kill quack grass? I am not sure, Chad. I'm not familiar with actually what quack grass is, unfortunately. I'm not up on all my weeds and stuff, or that particular weed. I'm not sure. So if someone knows if quack grass will tolerate being cut at 1/2 inch, let me know. I know most weeds don't. Like if you start cutting, like really the weeds that are still an issue for me in my lawn, even at low heights of cut. So last year I was at 1/2 inch for most of the season and I had to bump it up a little bit. Like the two weeds that I still have issues with in my lawn occasionally are nutsedge, Kalinga, and spurge is also a nasty one. Spurge will literally laugh at you. You can cut spurge at the same height as you cut your Bermuda, and it will just it'll just weave in there. It's like a vine. It's nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. So for me, those are the only two weeds that I'm really familiar with. We also have Poa that Alex had that. I get like small amounts of that on my lawn, but it's just so small that I just pull it. But I'm not familiar with quackgrass. That's one I've not had in my lawn, Chad Shepard. So I don't actually know the answer to your question, unfortunately. All right. Let's see. So we have a vote for the Yard Mastery. Daniel Ferrer says, "See, I use the Yard Mastery Triple 12. He says it's cheaper and better." So there you go. Someone that's used it and apparently seems to like it. Let's see here. So April Wood has a question about mowing after seeding your grass. She says, "Hi, Ron. Hey, April. How long after seeding before can you cut your grass?" So I'd want to give it. Here's the thing. The answer is it depends, right? So for Bermuda, realistically, you want to give it 3 to 4 weeks. You want to give it you want to let it grow in well enough that whenever you're running your mower over it, you're not ripping the new grass out of the ground. I've seen a lot of the instructions sometimes will say allow your lawn to get to like 2 inches, 2.5 inches before you cut it. Like that's never gonna happen on my lawn. Like I'm not gonna let my grass get that tall. But you just want to wait till it's established. You want to wait till it's grown in, that it's not like tiny little baby grass that when you run your mower over the lawn, just the fact of running a mower on it is gonna rip it out. And then you should be good to go. So I can only tell you what I've done. In my case, last year when I seeded with Arden 15, within a few weeks, really around the 3-week mark, I was mowing again. So that's what I did in my lawn, and the grass grew in pretty well. It established fairly well. It did well. So yeah, I can only speak from my experience what I did. I know that the bag or the instructions will say let the grass get to like 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches, but that's just not going to happen on my lawn. So sorry I don't have a better answer for you, but I can tell you that after like 3 to 4 weeks, you can mow it and it's just fine. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Jeremy White's, what's going on, Jeremy? I appreciate you coming to hang in. He says, just headed to Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu training. Dude, you are a monster. Dude, I mean, Jiu-Jitsu is bad enough as it is, but doing Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, that's a workout, man. That is a workout. So let's see, what other questions do we have? Mr. Love says, I am using Negate. I used Negate last year and highly recommend it for Poa. Oh, and that's a good point about Negate. So one thing you guys I've gotten a question about is like if I'm going to make a video on Negate on how to use it, and I'm still toying with the idea of how to on doing that or not, because the thing is, like when you step into like the professional grade herbicides, like you really need to respect the label. Like to quote like Jake the Lawn Care kid, like label is law. Like to put it into terms, like a bottle of Image that I did in that video on spraying Poa, like a 24 ounce bottle of Image treats 6,000 square feet, right? So 24 ounces of this stuff, 6,000 square feet. With Negate, 1.5 ounces, so a tiny amount, like what's smaller than this bottle. Like this is 5 ounces. Like the Negate, the amount of contents of Negate is like less than half this, and it treats an acre. So like 24 ounces, 6,000 square feet. 1.5 ounces, 43,000 thereabouts square feet. So you really need to pay attention when you mix it. It's not hard, but you have to respect it. Like you need to dilute it properly. You need to use a surfactant with it, and you need to wear the proper PPE. So that's part of why I haven't done a video yet, because I'm kind of leery about putting a video like that out there, because if people don't follow the instructions and don't actually respect it, you can seriously damage your lawn or yourself. So, but I'm glad that you're using Negate, Mr. Love, that you're getting great results with it. But we'll see. I might do a video. It's just gonna have a whole lot of disclaimers in it. A whole lot of disclaimers saying, pay attention, watch all this, do everything I'm saying to do in here. So yeah. Let's see what else do we have here. So Trin Dave has a question. He says, how does a carbon product you have for sale differ from CarbonPro? I think you mean CarbonPro G. They're comparable, Trin Dave. So CarbonPro G has a bit more biochar in it. The Essential G has silicon, has more humic acid. It has reground coffee grounds in it, so it's a bit of a more of an, out of the two, like if you're looking for more of a more organic product, probably the Essential G is probably more, they're both organic really, but I mean that one for people that are like super green, that want to be able to fertilize, using organic means, like coffee grounds for a lot of gardeners is a means for doing that, because as the coffee grounds break down, it releases trace amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So it has some NPK in it, like trace amounts of that. So I don't want you to think that there's one or the other. Either product used on your lawn, you're going to get great results with it. And just to prove that, what I'll probably do is, for a lot of this season, I will use the Essential G on my lawn. So you guys can see that I'm going to still get great results with it. And so yeah, there's not like one is better than the other. They're both comparable, both excellent products. They have slightly different formulations, but either one is going to do a great job for it as far as adding carbon to your lawn. I mean, they're made by Mirimichi Green. They don't make bad stuff. I mean, they're good enough that Lesko said, make a carbon product for us, and they did. So that's good enough for me. All right. What other questions do we have here? He said, so Bernal Thomas says, I didn't put out any pre-emergent because my lawn was new. That's good. Tifway Bermuda. And I wanted to see with Arden 15. I'm now seeing Poa annual weeds and want to hit that with Image. Is this a good idea? Yeah, you can do that. You can certainly hit the Poa with Image. Just remember, here's the thing with Image. It is a 3 to 5 week process. So when you put it down, when you apply it, like apply it and then don't look at the Poa for like 4 weeks. Like don't say it's not working, because literally what happens is it's like nothing. And around week 3.5 is you'll start seeing it begin to yellow, and then between week 3 and 5, the Poa falls off a lot more and eventually will die. So you can use Image. It'll work well. It'll get the job done, but it works slow. And as far as like the Poa, like if to prevent that, you would have had to put down Pre-Emergent in the fall. Like the Poa you're seeing now, Pre-Emergent you're putting down now is not going to do anything for that. Like that stuff germinated, months ago, and only now we're really starting to see it. But yeah, to answer your question, even with your overseeding project, putting down Image should be just fine. It's not going to hurt your ability to get good results with your Arden 15 overseeding project. Very cool. Let's see here. Brett, look at Brett, trying to throw shade. He says, Ron, when are you going to get a floating head mower and change your life? I am a little bit jealous of your Flex, your Greensmaster Flex, Brett. I have to tell you, you and Alan are sitting there showing it off, and you're showing the articulating head, and it's cool. When I did the video on setting up the groomer at Stone Mountain Golf like their country club, and they let me come out there and film there. It was cool. Like I have to say, articulating head, I've never mowed with one, but I can definitely see the advantages. Like having that floating head is going to allow you to get a really, really smooth cut with practically no, like a lot less chance of scalping. So I don't know, man. I'd have to. It's going to take. I'm not in the market for a floating head mower. So if someone wants to send me one, I'd gladly accept it. But it's probably. I think it's going to probably have to be a Brett thing for now. I'll stick with the fixed head 1600. You can have the Ferrari flex head Greensmaster. You can have that. I don't have to have everything you have. So I think we'll just let you have that one. All right. Ryan has a question about zoysia. Is the treatment for zoysia the same as Bermuda? They're pretty similar. They're pretty similar. I'm trying to think. There's the biggest difference between zoysia and Bermuda is that zoysia grows a lot slower, and zoysia can get really thatchy or can get really dense, like really, really, really super dense. Like the one that Real Rollers had. Let me think. There's a Tiftoff, El Toro. Xeon is the one that gets really, it grows in like a thick, like almost like shag carpet, like really, really thick. That's probably one difference, but as far as treatment, for the most part, they're very similar. Like most products that you can apply safely on Bermuda, as far as like herbicides, those kinds of things, can also work on zoysia. I believe zoysia has slightly lower nitrogen requirements than Bermuda, but outside of like small things like that, they're very similar. Great question. Let's see, what else do we have here? Muscleman Media says he sprayed Roundup on his lawn last year with Bermuda and it came back. You're a braver man than I. I've seen it done, and I've seen it. It comes back, but you end up with splotches for like a big part of the season. So I am not a fan of putting Roundup on lawns. So yeah, but I mean, I'm glad that you were able to do that and that you got a good result. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. So Jay King says, my Airbnb has 419 lawn 3 hours away. How can I limit my trips while maintaining a nice lawn? Okay. So a couple of things, Jay. So when you say keep a nice lawn, couple things, like as far as like limit your nitrogen, like don't like you want to run probably the nitrogen a little bit lower in the lawn than perhaps like you would if you're really trying to go like for all out looking as good as it can possibly look. And then also look into Plant Growth Regulator. I've got a couple of videos on how to use Plant Growth Regulator, how to mix it, how to apply it. A good one that is not going to break the bank is one called like T-Nex. It's called, which is, I think is like that's the generic for like Primo Max. And just look for a PGR that has where the active ingredient is trinexapac ethyl. That's what you're looking for. But T-Nex is what you're probably going to want to use to limit how often you're going to have to mow. And then again, like I was saying, just don't push a lot of nitrogen. Don't push too much nitrogen in the lawn to where you're going to encourage it to grow too vigorously. Let me see if I have. Nope, I don't. But I mean, just look up T-Nex. You'll be able to find it on Do My Own or Amazon or something like that. Actually, here you go. I've got a link for it in case you are looking for it. So if you want to get T-Nex, you can pick it up right there. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would limit your nitrogen. I mean, still make sure you put some nitrogen in the lawn, like feed the lawn, but just don't go as hardcore as someone that is going to be out in the lawn mowing quite a bit, and then put some Plant Growth Regulator on it, and that should keep it looking pretty nice. The first time you do put PGR down, you will probably get a little bit of yellowing. That's completely normal. If you want to get around that, add get a liquid fert of some sort. Add a little bit of nitrogen add a liquid fert with a little bit of nitrogen, a little bit of iron in it. That will take the edge off of that yellowing, that bronzing that you get the first time you apply T-Nex, typically the first time in the season. But then yeah, that would be my recommendation. T-Nex, and go a little bit low on the nitrogen, and you should be good to go. Hopefully that helps. Mike Skeel says, happy Friday, Ron. Happy Friday, Mike. He says, I picked up some CarbonPro G today. Site 1 Lesco owes you a kickback. You should tell them that. When you guys go in there, you should tell them, you know what, I'm here. Tell them I am here because Ron recommended CarbonPro G, and that's why I'm buying it. Because yeah, you should tell them that. I mean, they probably will just smile and laugh and say, that's very cute. And they probably won't do anything, but at least they'll know that, that the DIY community, that, let them know that, DIY is important, man. Like we we like good products for our lawn. We're serious about our lawns. I mean, that's why, like when I was able to talk to Mirimichi Green about bringing the products available, making the products available to DIY, took some convincing, but they took a chance. They're taking a chance on us pretty much by putting their brand out there, by allowing us to make the products available to you guys directly. But yeah, I mean, I think even if I get nothing from it, whenever you guys go into a site one and you buy CarbonPro G, tell them that you're here because a YouTuber, you don't tell them my name, you don't even have to mention me if you don't want to, but just say because, hey, I'm a big DIYer and I like really good products for my lawn, and that's why I'm here buying CarbonPro G. And that might encourage them to, you never know, maybe start making it available online, maybe start selling it in other places. But yeah, I'm really glad to hear that you got some. And you said, so this is your first year putting out T-Nex. Should I use colored dye to make sure even, or any other tips? Yeah, if it's your first time, it won't hurt. I mean, I don't really typically use dye when I put down T-Nex, but it's not going to hurt to do that if you want. Any other tips I can tell you? Go low on the rate. Don't go, like, the rate is really important when it comes to T-Nex. Like, more, kind of like with herbicides, more is not better. If you have a Bermuda lawn, you can easily put it down at 0.25 ounces per thousand, and you're going to get a great result. If you have a Tifway lawn, you can go up to 0.35, 0.38 thereabout. You can go a little higher. And if it's a Tifway 419 lawn, that's what's listed on the T-Nex label, and also get a good result. So what that means, Mike Skeels, is if you have a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, you're going to be adding 1 ounce of T-Nex to that 4 gallons of water, because 4 gallons, if you're doing it, if you're applying it the way I apply, I use a sprayer, that 4 gallons is going to cover 4,000 square feet. So as long as you've done the work, your homework, you know how long it takes you to walk, 1,000 square feet. So to where literally when you're done with the 4 gallons, you've covered 4,000 square feet, not like 2,000 square feet, then you're going to get a good result. So it's not really that hard to apply. A little bit of liquid fert is a good thing to do. Like typically what I do, Mike, when the first time I put down T-Nex, which will probably be in April some point. We'll see how things go. I do it all at one time. So like my carbon will go down. So like release 0, the NutriKelp, the Biospectrum, my liquid fert, and the T-Nex will all go down. They're all going to go in the sprayer, and they'll all go down at the same time. So I like to save time. And that's a good point. Something I didn't mention. With those 3 products, with the products that are in the carbon kit, so the NutriKelp, the Biospectrum, and the Release 0, I have tested those together. So I've taken all 3 of those, I've mixed them at the heavy rate, at a very heavy rate, so like a much heavier rate than you guys are probably going to apply it at, along with Turfplex 4 with the fert that I'm going to be using, and it sprayed beautifully. There was no issues with clumping or doing anything kind of weird. So those 3 products just by themselves will play really nicely together, and they play really nice with most fertilizers and with T-Nex. So I just want to let you guys know. I didn't say that specifically when I was talking about it earlier, but those products will play really nice with ferts. But that would be my advice to you, Mike. Like, just stack all your stuff together, man. Like the Mirimichi green products mix really nicely. If you decide you're going to go with carbon, like I would do your carbon, your liquid fert, and your T-Nex. Like I would just knock them all out once and just be done with it. That's what I did last season. I got really good results with it because it takes time. Like my lawn, I've got to like fill up 3 backpack sprayers to be able to do it, and I don't want to have to do that time and time again. Great question. We got a super chat in the house here from Travis.
Super chat received.
Thank you so much, Travis. I appreciate it. He says, thank you for doing this live stream. Great info, sir. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate that. If you guys are in here, you come into the live stream, hit the like button. I really appreciate it. So it's an easy and free way for you to support the channel. You don't have to buy a t-shirt. You don't have to buy any carbon. You can just hit the like button and you're supporting the channel. It's not costing you anything. All right. So let's see what other questions do we have here? So he says, May D says, I love your help. I'm in Rhode Island. When is the best time for Caravan G and Weed Killer? I kind of covered Caravan G, May D. In most cases, late April, early May is when I would do that. And then Weed Killer. Here's the thing, guys. We got to at some point. We're going to have like a come to Jesus, come to the campfire about Weed Killer. Really, if you are doing things the way I do things, which again, everybody has their different way of doing it. So I'm not saying that my way is necessarily the best way. You want to use herbicides as a means to get ahead, or to give the grass that you want to do well a chance to get ahead of that grass, and then like limit how much herbicides you need to apply on your lawn. Like on my lawn, outside of like a spring pre-emergent and a fall pre-emergent, and this year it's not even getting a spring pre-emergent, I don't really spray herbicides on my lawn. I mean, last year I did have to put some dismiss to get rid of the spurge that I brought into the lawn when I top dressed it. But outside of that, pre-emergent is pretty much all I use, because really the thing is that when you put a herbicide on your lawn, even though it's safe for the grass, like it can do it, or when I say it's safe for the grass, it still stresses the turf. So you really want to limit how much you're using herbicides on your lawn. Really use them as a means to knock the weeds back, and then start mowing your lawn a lot, doing a lot of the cultural practices that are going to allow your lawn to become really dense and thick, which is like your natural weed control. So that's, I'll get off my soapbox now, but that's just one thing I want to say about weeds. You don't want to be putting weed killer on your lawn all the time. Like it's a very specific thing that you're trying to take care of, and then move on to just your cultural practices taking care of weeds. Let's see, what else do we have here as far as questions? So Apollo Prime says, great, that's an awesome handle. Is the Kentucky bluegrass could survive in a common Bermuda lawn? Thanks, Ron, URG. So that's a good question. I don't actually know the answer to that one, Apollo. I can tell you that probably in the summertime, the Kentucky bluegrass is not going to fare too well with Bermuda, but in the cool season, it's probably gonna do better. The question is, I honestly don't know. The only cool season grass that I commonly hear about people intertwining with Bermuda is like perennial rye, an annual or perennial rye, and then most people spray that out around this time of the year to get rid of it and just have the Bermuda in. So I don't know people that really seed, or I don't know that overseeding with Kentucky bluegrass is as common as a thing as it is with rye, but I can tell you of the two, Bermuda's probably going to win that fight, over time. So yeah, hopefully that helps answer your question. Yeah, and Dimitri did confirm what he says. Yeah, you literally have to dig Dallisgrass out to get rid of it. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. So Jay Teed Up has a question about pre-emergents. Says, I use dithiopyr and pendimethalin as two active ingredients for pre-em this spring. From my understanding, the MOA is to method of action is the same. Any suggestion for a good pre-emergent with a different mode of action? So I guess, Jay, why would we put another one down? Like if you've already put down dithiopyr and pendimethalin, you're probably good, man. I don't know that I would really hammer it again. In the spring anyway. I mean, in the fall, if you want to switch to something else, then go for it. But I mean, prodiamine is a really, really good pre-emergent for a couple of reasons. One, it's inexpensive and it works really, really well. And it seems like the research shows that there's not a ton of weeds that are really necessarily getting, or at least in Georgia anyway, a lot of resistance to prodiamine. So if you did dithiopyr and pendimethalin in the spring, in the fall, I might put prodiamine down. But yeah, if you've already done those two, I would not add any more pre-emergent this spring. Like more is not necessarily always better when it comes with herbicides. Like do the rate and then allow it to work. Marcelo says, Ron, can you top dress twice in one season? Yes, you can. I actually did it last year. Last year I did it twice. I did it once in, I think the second time was in like after the 4th of July. The second time was like the weekend of July 11th, I think, and the first time was in May, if memory serves me. So if you look at my channel, there's 2 videos on top dressing. Like one of them looks really, really bad. The one that looks really bad and is really badly shot and the camera angles are all terrible, that's the first one. And then the one that with Alex, that was the second time. So I did it. You can top dress multiple times in a season. If you start in late April, early May, like mid-May, you might even be able to get 3, and you might be able to do one in May, early May, do it again in mid to late June, and then another one late July, early August. You could probably get away with 3 if you really wanted to. But that's a ton of work. That's a ton of work if you decide you're going to go that route. But yeah, as long as you start early enough in the season, you could probably get 2 is definitely no problem. I've done 2. I know that will work. 3, you have to kind of plan it. And after doing 2, you probably won't want to do a third because it's pretty rough. Let's see here. OSS Konar says, my soil test results say my pH is high. What should I use to lower it? So there's a couple different ways to go about that. So if you don't mind, Onar, send me your soil test results. You can use like an ammonium sulfate. That's something that you can use to lower, to start bringing pH down. There's a product from Magical that they make that can also lower lower pH in alkaline soil. So there's a couple of different options. If you don't mind, send me your soil test results here, ron@golfcourselawn.com, and we can figure out a plan of action based on what you're trying to do with the lawn. But yeah, there's definitely ways to fix that. Just realize that doing that is a process. It's not like you're going to apply the product and then like the next time you test 3 months later, it's all going to be sunshine and roses. It does take a while to move pH in either direction. But great question. All right, Stanji says favorite time Friday night with Ron the live and the cruise. So pretty awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us for this, Stan. Great. I really appreciate you taking some time to hang out. Okay, LG is in the house. I kind of get worried whenever LG and SMK ask a question. I have to worry a little bit because they always bring the hard ones. Let's see what he's got for me tonight. He says, Ron, looking at the carbon kit in your store. Of course you are. This is a quick question about biospectrum as it relates to synthetic fungicides. Do you think synthetic fungicides will kill the beneficial microbes? Okay, that's a great question, and I actually asked Mirimichi Green about this. So in most cases, right, you don't want to apply a microbial package and a fungicide. Like the two of them, typically you're going to have some kill off. And I asked them about biospectrum in particular, they said that you will get some kill off, you will get some die off with applying a fungicide with biospectrum. But they said that the product is so dense and the assortment of microbes they have in it is such that you can still do it and you're still going to have a good result. Like they've actually tested this because the big thing about Mirimichi Green, like their whole thing it's like a really green company as far as like sustainability. So like the part of why they did this kind of testing is they say, okay, well, listen, if we tell people they have to go out and apply all of our other products, but then they have to come back and, they could apply their fungicide by itself and they have to go back and apply biospectrum just by itself. That's another trip, like for a farm or a stadium or any, like their normal customers, not people like us. That's like more gas they're burning. That's things that are not necessarily good for the environment. And Mirimichi Green is all about developing products that are sustainable and that help, that allow you to get a great result in your lawn while preserving the environment. So they actually did test the very scenario you're talking about, LG, and the guidance I've gotten from them is that it's absolutely fine to do it. So you do not need to do biospectrum separate from any fungicides you're putting down. There is going to be a little bit of kill off, but they've accounted for that in the formulation. To put it into perspective, that one bag, let me get it here. This one bag of biospectrum. So there's 17 ounces in here. This 17 ounces of this product treats 5 acres. So that's, what is that? A little over 200,000 square feet. So that one little 17 ounces, 200,000 square feet. So a little bit goes a long way, which is why, we were able to put those small little pills in there, a small amount of it in the kits, and you still get a really good result. So, but great question. It's sure it's a question someone else is going to have, and I'm glad you raised it. And the answer is you are good to go. Put them all together and spray to your heart's content. Great question. Let's see what other questions we have. Andrew says beneficial plants to deter rabbits, but don't get rid of the rabbits because you're getting free fertilizer. That's a good point. You are getting some free getting free fertilizer. Let's see here. So Gary has a question here, and it's not something that I actually have to deal with. He says, Gary Johnson says, Arizona, high soil alkaline, little rain. What's the best way to get rid of the soil salt buildup? So here's the thing. This is a great question, and the people at BioPro have thought about this, and I'll show you something that they came up with. It's something you can try out. I have not personally used this product. I've not tried it. Again, we don't have the issue where there's a lot of salt during the winter time where like salt washes or snow melts and it washes in the lawn, or we get a lot of salt in the lawns, and we don't have soil that has a lot of heavy sodium in it. But they have a product here, and I think I've got it here in the store. If I can get to it, I can show you. Let's see, maybe not. I may not be able to do that, but there is a product they make. It's like called NAX or something like that. Gary Johnson, that is specifically designed to address what you are talking about. I don't see it. Here it is. Yep, I do have it. Boom, there we go. All right, so this product, let me bring it up here. Boom. All right, so this product from BioPro, the same people that make the Turfplex, the fertilizer that I'm using, they make a soil salt flush And this is supposed to do, I think this I think will address what you are, the issue you're dealing with. Again, I've not personally used this product because I just don't have the issue that this product is made for, but it's something that they came out with, and I agreed to list it on the store, and it's cool that you actually have the problem. You have the problem. So there you go. There's something you can try out. I'll actually put a link to it here in the live stream. Let me see what's your name. Your name is @Gary Johnson. And there you go. So try that out. That's a product that I think is designed to address specifically what you're talking about, and it's made from a company that makes really good products. So I think you should probably have pretty good results with it. So yeah, just give that a go, man, and let me know. I'm always glad to have answers whenever I can. It's not always the case. So when I can answer a question, makes me feel good. All right. So Todd. I'm going to butcher your name. I'm going to try it here. Warizniak. He says, love your show. Buffalo Bills country here. Ron, should I aerate and overseed in the spring or verticut and then seed? The answer is yes. Okay, all jokes aside, you can do either one. Either one is going to work well, Todd. If you can aerate alone by itself and then do your overseeding if you like. Verticutting is probably going to produce a better germination, a better result, because the thing with a lot of the verticutters or a lot of the slit seeders, you can a lot of those will verticut and they will also drop seed at the same time. So it's probably a better way if seeding is the primary thing you're after, and you can get your hands on a verticutter with it has a slit seeding feature. That's probably the better way to go. But both are effective ways to open up the turf and improve soil to seed contact. So either one should work. And as far as as far as when to do that, look at the seed that you're trying to put down. You're in Bill's country, so I guess that's Buffalo, New York. So you're probably doing a cool season seed, I imagine. So just look on whatever seed you're putting down, and it will tell you what soil temperatures need to be, or what the recommended soil temperatures are for the seed that you're trying to put down. And the best way to know that is two ways you can do it. You can three ways. You can just Google for your area average soil temps, and it'll probably link to the extension office. It'll tell you what it is. You can get the Yard Mastery app, which will tell you what the soil temperatures are in your area. Or you can get one of these guys, which is what I have. It's a soil test meter. You can get one of these guys off of Amazon for $15. They're super cheap. And you stick this in the soil, turn it on, and it will tell you what your soil temps are. So that's another way. So there's three ways to go about it. So that's the only thing I would tell you to do to help you get the best possible result with your seeding. Make sure that the soil temperatures are where they need to be for the seed type that you are planning to put down. All right. Let's see what other questions we have here. Hunt to Kill has a question. Another question about seeding. He says, if I spray back my OG grass, how long do I or should I wait to do new topsoil and sand and seed? Should I wait between putting down new soil on top? That's a good question. So I would give it three. If you spray your lawn out, let's say you glyphosate your entire lawn, so you kill it. I would give it a couple of weeks for everything to die off nicely. And if you can get a lot of that old grass out, it's not always easy to do. If you can get that out, and then go forward with your topsoil, or you said I guess your top dressing and seeding. That's a good plan. Here's the thing though. Whenever you kill off the base grass, what you call it, your OG grass, it's probably not gonna all go away. Like you putting glyphosate on the lawn and smoking out your entire lawn is a good way to definitely knock it back a lot. But don't be surprised that even after you do that and a couple of weeks go by, you pull it out, you do your top dress, you put down the seed, you're watering it, everything is great, all sunshine and roses, all the grass gods are all happy. Don't be surprised if you still see some small spots of the original grass still poking through it. It's not like you glyphosate the lawn and it dies off and it never, none of it ever comes back. So just have reasonable expectations of what you're going to get whenever you decide you're going to do a renovation. So but yeah, your 2 to 3 weeks is what I would do, and then you should be good to go. All right, what other questions do we have here? Wise Guy says, "Hi Ron, for my yard photos, you think I can use a Swordman? I keep my height cut at 2 inches. Man, you really need to be low, but you need to be below 1.5 inches if you can, Wise Guy. Just for real mowers in general. I don't know what the top height of cut on a Swordman is. I don't know if they'll go up to 2 inches. I would if I had to guess, I'd probably say not. And even if they do go up to 2 inches, they're probably not going to cut very well at 2 inches. Most real mowers don't. I would not go for a 2-inch height of cut. You should be able, even with your lawn, man, looking at your pictures, you should be, if memory serves me, you should be able to get down to like that 1.5 inch, maybe even 1.25 inch height of cut. You should be able to get there. And if not, that'll let you know like what parts of your lawn you may have to do some slight leveling. But most lawns with a reel mower can be cut at 1.5 inches, and most cases even a little bit lower without doing any kind of top dressing. So you just, in other words, don't look at the results you're getting with a rotary mower and say, okay, my rotary mower scalps at 2 inches, so I can't go any lower than that. Reel mower is an entirely different, set of pieces of hardware. You're entering an entirely different world. Whereas with a rotary mower, 2 inches, 1.5 inches, you're really pushing the limits unless you've got really, really flat, a really, really flat lawn. With a reel mower, 1.5 inches, you're just getting started. That's like you're entering the zone for reel mowing, right? So I would not try and use your reel mower as a rotary. If you're going reel to a reel mower, cut lower. So start at 1.5 inches and then just work your way down. And like I said, most lawns you can typically get down to 1 inch, 1.25 inches. Most lawns pretty easily with a reel mower. So hopefully that helps. But if you want to talk about it some more, man, you got my email. We've already been talking, but just shoot me an email here, and I will do my best to help you out. I appreciate it, man. Great question. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. So Todd said, last year I cut under 1 inch with a reel mower for the first time. This spring, I'm noticing some patches of snow mold. What can I use next fall to prevent this? Any fungicide recommendations? That's a good question, Todd. I don't have an answer for that one, unfortunately. Snow mold is not something I've dealt with. I imagine something from Syngenta is probably going to work. Like if you look into their catalog, they probably have something that will work. I would imagine Headway G would probably do well like that. Like Headway G is like a baller fungicide. It's not cheap, but it's really, really good. That is probably one that I would be willing to try, but just let's check the label and see if snow mold is one of the things that it will it's labeled to work to be effective against. It probably is because it's a really, really good fungicide. But yeah, I can't tell you for sure. Yes, this one will do it. But if I were going to stick my neck out and say go read the label of this particular fungicide, I would say go read the label of Headway G. That's the one that I would think would probably be able to do that. Great question. But I've never had to deal with snow mold, so again, I can't answer your question from direct experience, but I can only just talk about fungicides that I've used that work really, really well. All right, Joshua has a question here about Pre-Emergent. He says, I'm using Pre-Emergent Pennant Magnum, Cadillac Pre-Emergent. He says, would it stress out a recently scalped Zoysia lawn too much? Should I wait until it greens up before applying in Northwest Florida? Water more often while there's exposed soil. Thanks. If the lawn is established, Joshua, you should go ahead and put your Pre-Emergent down. The thing about Pre-Emergent where it does like root clipping, where it suppresses the ability for the existing grass and for weeds to root, that really is a big problem when you're dealing with like new sods. If you told me you just put down sod like 3 months ago, like you just put down Zoysia sod in like December, I'd say, yeah, don't put down Pre-Emergent. It's probably not a good idea. But you didn't say that. You just said that you just scalped it. So yeah, no, I would definitely do your Pre-Emergent. Waiting on Pre-Emergent is a bad idea. Like Pre-Emergent is one of those things that a little bit early is good, a little bit late is bad because it's in the name, like Pre-Emergent. So prior to the weeds emerging, you need to have it down. And scalping doesn't materially affect your Pre-Emergent. So yeah, I would get that down, assuming that I'm reading your question correctly here and that your lawn is established and the only thing you've really done is just scalped it. Then I would go ahead and do that. So yeah, let's see what other questions we have here. Let's see. OS Turfman has a question here. Point here. He says, "Hey Ron, watch your latest Pre-Emergent update video. Just letting you know the response from the K is actually ryegrass. Not a response from nutrient response. Keep up those updates, sir." Good point. Good point. OS Turfman. I guess the point I was trying to make is that it's not so much that you should be using Pre-Emergent as a fertilizer. That's not what I'm saying. I guess it was more along the lines of if you're deciding between like a granular Pre-Emergent or a liquid Pre-Emergent, right? And your soil test. Let's say, as an example, let's play out the scenario, kind of like what the scenario at Real Rollers is, right? So you did a soil test, to say in February, right? And you're like, in their case, like all their macros were really low. And you're deciding, should I put down like a granular or liquid pre-emergent. There might be, I was trying to say to show that there is some merit to the granular, because in a lawn that, or in a soil that is starved for nutrients, you're giving it a little bit of potassium. So why not? So that was my point. But great point. I appreciate your comment, and I will do my best to keep the updates. Thank you so much for chiming in. I appreciate it. All right. Brooklyn Boy says, Milo, when to apply? I live in Texas. When to apply? You live in Texas. Milo, you can, if you are warm enough, if the temps where you are in Texas are such that the lawn is beginning to green up, meaning you're starting to see that green haze. There's probably a better name for it, but I just call it the green haze, the green fuzz. The lawn's starting to turn green. It's calling for a little bit of help. Then yeah, sure, you can put down Milo if you like. Here's something that I started playing with on my lawn this year is I started spraying. So last year I went with Milo to start. And the thing with Milo, it's a good fertilizer, but remember, Milo relies on, because it's organic, it relies on soil temps being in the 50s to really begin to work. It relies on microbial activity to break it down. So this spring, I said, you know what? While I'm waiting for my granular that I want to use to be ready, I am going to spray my fertilizer, because that's a great way to like fast track nitrogen right into the grass. Goes right into the foliar. It's a quick way to get fast uptake. And the results you guys are seeing with the lawn greening up a little bit sooner is from one application of a liquid fert. So depending on what you're after, Brooklyn Boy, if all you're looking to do is to just get your program started, you're not really trying to push green up any sooner, you can absolutely put Milo down, but just know that until soil temps really start getting into the 50s and above consistently, it's not going to really ramp up and really start doing its thing. And if you're trying to get an earlier green up, just get a liquid fert of your choice and spray that. I like this stuff. This stuff is I'm actually a pretty big fan of this. The response from the Turfplex has been really, really, really impressive. Again, I've only got like one application of this so far, and it's if you guys look at my YouTube stories, you can see how the lawn's responding to it. So I am liking it. But yeah, great question on that. Let's see. Yeah, and thank you, Brett. I appreciate it, man. You see, this is why you're nice to have around. Even though you harass me and you make me feel inferior about having a fixed head reel mower with you and your fancy, floating head one, at least you're actually people to hit the like button. So to Brett's point, while I take a sip of my lemonade, anyone that's joined the live stream, if you don't mind, hit the like button. It's an easy and free way to support the channel and to get get more people to come in here and hang out with us as we talk about lawn care stuff. So I appreciate that, Brett. Let's see. What other questions do we have? Al James has a question about a product called Green Pop. He says, can I use Green Pop 1621-2 as a first app of the season? Cool season fescue. You probably can, Al. The correct answer to the question, the way to answer your question most accurately, you probably know what I'm going to say, is what do your soil test data say, right? Here's the thing. Like if you're starting out the season, you use like a 1010, 12 as your first fert app of the season. That's not too bad. That's not that big a deal because all the numbers and the ratios are relatively low, right? But in this Green Pot product you're talking about here, I'm not familiar with it, but you got like 21% phosphorus in there. That's a pretty good jolt of phosphorus. So I'd want to make sure that my soil actually needed that. The grass actually needed phosphorus were put that much into it, 10%, 12%, but 22, 21%, that's a different story. So I would get a soil test done if you've not done one as yet. The one that I like is from my soil. Get that one done. If you're looking for one, you can get one here at golfcourselawn.store. I've got all the soil test kits in different packages. Get that done, and then based on that, put down a product that matches. That's the best answer to that question. And you can probably apply it, and you're probably going to get it'll probably be just fine. But if you're trying to do things the most correct way, optimize things as good as you can to get the best possible result, I would, add that product based on soil test results. But great question. See, I didn't get that far. So Dimitri says, my phosphorus is very low. How often do I need to spray Green Pop to get it to the right level? Can I go heavy? I would apply it at the correct rate, guys. It's not, again, when you do your soil test and it says, hey, this stuff is missing, right? You've got these deficiencies in your soil. It's not something that you really need to try and push to correct all in one sitting. It's kind of, the best way to think about it is soil testing. The data you get from it, it's information you can use to influence your soil over time. It's directional data. It's like if you went to the doctor and they took your blood pressure and they said, hey, Ron, you got super high blood pressure. and you got to do these things to try and work on lowering your blood pressure. You wouldn't go out and do everything like in one day to try and get your blood pressure to come down. It's something you do over time. It's a trend thing, right? And what would happen is you go to the doctor again in 3 months, 6 months, get blood work done again. They say, hey, the stuff you're doing is either working or it's not working. So that's how you should treat soil testing. I mean, it's things like the macros. You can tend to adjust those a little bit sooner. I mean, those will respond a little bit faster than like, for example, pH. But don't look at your soil test data and say, I'm going to now smack my lawn with everything it needs all at once to try and fix everything all at once, because it just doesn't work that way. Use it as a tool to influence your lawn care program during the growing seasons to kind of move things in the right direction. It's directional information, not like this is what it's missing. I'm going to apply all this stuff right now and fix it all at one time. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Dimitri, if your phosphorus is low and the green pop has a lot of phosphorus in it, I would begin applying that. I would use that as if it's a liquid, I'm guessing it's a liquid. If it's a liquid, just use that as your liquid fertilizer that you're gonna be spraying this season. That would be a good, thing to do. Let's see. I'm not sure your question here. Texas Ranger Kid, he says, do you have these amounts of potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus that should go down each month in a video or in a single link? So no, that's a good question. And the reason why is that it varies. So the big thing that you really want to apply monthly, or at least that I apply monthly, is nitrogen, the amount of nitrogen my lawn needs. And I also like to give the lawn a little bit of potassium each month as well too. Phosphorus is the one that I don't apply unless there's a real need for it, because bad things happen, especially if you live near water or like streams. You just really want to be careful with putting phosphorus into your lawn, into your soil, unless you absolutely need it. So nitrogen and potassium are typically the ones that are in the most fertilizers that I use. And as far as the amount of nitrogen, it depends on your grass type. So for Bermuda, the general guidance is around a pound of nitrogen per month. I typically go a little bit less than that. But the reason why I get away with that is because like I focus heavily on like making the soil as good as I possibly can. That's why I like that carbon package, that kit that I put together for Mirimichi Green for you guys. Like when you are focusing on soil microbial activity and having carbon so that you're able to make nutrients more available. Like you don't necessarily have to pound the soil or your turf with tons of nitrogen each month. Like last year, if you guys look at my lawn, it looked really good. I never applied more than a pound of nitrogen to my lawn at any point during the growing season, ever, not once. So less is more, because too much of those things, especially nitrogen, it'll make your grass grow, but it also creates other problems. Like you encourage more thatch. It just like too much of anything is not good. So the best way to know, TX Ranger Kid, is I would get a soil test done. Based on those soil test results, I would select a product that matches like the deficiencies in your soil and use that throughout the season to feed your lawn like what it needs. That would be my my guidance. The big thing that you need to worry about as far as like monthly rates though are like your nitrogen, and based on your grass type, you'll know how much nitrogen you need to put down. So great question. That's a good one. Let us see here. George is in the house. Princess Cut Lawn Care, man. What's going on, George? He says the season is almost here. I'm pumped. You're pumped, dude. I mean, I was out there mowing dormant grass in February, and now that I'm getting green, I mean, listen, I'm getting like a little bit of green. What do you think's happening? Like I was out there. I've already been mowing every. I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but I've been mowing every 2 to 3 days already. Just because the reason why is I'm really trying to get it to come up. I'm trying to stimulate growth as much as I can. I'm probably overdoing it, but it's just fun to be outside for a change, man, and to be out mowing the grass. But like you, I am pumped for this season, George. Let's see what other questions do we have here. Chad Shepard says, I'm in Canada. We have a later start for our lawn season. At what temperature should I put down a pre-emergent? The big thing, Chad, is again with pre-emergent, it's about soil temperature. That's what you're looking for when it comes to time your pre-emergent app. So really, before soil temps cross 50 to 55 degrees, is when you want to have your pre-emergent down in the soil. So once you start getting days in the 50s, maybe touching in the 60s every now and then, like that's when, if you start getting a trend of that kind of weather, you want to have your pre-emergent down before that happens, because again, the rule with pre-emergent is a little bit early is fine. Late is no good, because you're not going to get any of the results from it unless you use something like dithiopyr that has a little bit of reach back. But if you're using like prodiamine, which is like the one that most people use, you really want to get that down prior to 50 to 55 degrees to get the best possible result. Let's see. TX Ranger says, do you have a video about fighting nutsedge, or can you talk about it briefly? Sure. So I do have a video on fighting nutsedge. There's a couple of products that you can use for that. You can use Image. Image actually will work against nutsedge. It's just slow working. There's also a product called Sedgehammer, like that will work against it. I think that I don't know if Negate is rated for nutsedge for Kalinga as well, but I know that Sedgehammer and Image, that's a good combination. Those two are a good combination for fighting nutsedge. But the thing with that is just that you have to know that if you're using Image, it's going to be a slow process because it's just slower working. It's a slower acting herbicide. The thing with nutsedge too, man, is I tend to find that anywhere where water tends to flow a lot in your lawn, that's where you're going to get it. Like on my lawn, despite everything I do, like in the swale area every year, regardless of I mow my lawn a lot. As far as like cultural practices, like I'm like the poster boy here for mowing. Like I love mowing. And those areas where water flows and will maybe settle for a little bit of time when the lawn's draining, that's where I get nutsedge. So it's one of those things where if you can do things to improve your drainage to where water just does not settle, because that's what nutsedge loves, that will help some. But as far as herbicides go, Image will work, and Sedgehammer are also other ones. There are probably also some stronger ones, so other concoctions that will work well against nutsedge, but those two I know will do the trick. It just takes a little while to work, but they will get the job done. Great question. All right, let's see here. Papa Mo's Low says, I'm applying the first recommended to help my non-existent phosphorus and low potassium. I remember your soil test results now. Still need to address the low levels of micros. Will that package you discussed that's available on your site address that? Okay, so yeah, so the product that the fertilizer that I recommend to you, I remember Papa Mo's Low, that's an 1824-12 or something like that. That is only NPK. That doesn't really address the micros. What I would do is I would still use that, but if you also want to improve your micronutrients, what I would use is if you're looking to get carbon, like if carbon is something you want to add to your lawn care program, I would definitely go with one of the Mirimichi green kits, and then I would use this guy. Let's see here if I can get here. I get my face up here. So I would use one of these kits depending on your lawn size, either like the 5,000 square foot, or if you just want to buy in bulk and be good for like 6 applications, get the 10,000 square foot one. But then there's another micronutrient that I really like here by BioPro. I just got this on the site here this past week, and this is a really, really nice liquid micronutrient product. Reason for that is that this guy has all of the micronutrients. So what thing you find with micronutrients sometimes, right? Like micronutrient products, is that you'll find that you'll get some that'll have, typically all of them will have iron in it. They'll have iron and they'll have manganese. Some will also have zinc, but it's rare that you find one that has iron, manganese, zinc, boron, and copper, that has the entire suite. And this product has that, in addition to also having a little bit of seaweed extract to help also improve your soil while you're doing it as well too. So yeah, I mean, that's a product that I would use. That is what I'm going to be using. If you guys actually saw my soil test results, my nitrogen was a little bit low, and then my micronutrients need a little bit of work. That Nutrisolve, I don't even have it. I can't reach it here without getting up. But that product, that is what I'm going to be spraying along with my carbon program, along with my carbon concoction to address my micronutrients. So Papa Mo's Low, that's the one I would use, and I'll put a link to it here for you at Papa. There we go. There you go. And boom. There we go. So that's what I would use. Great question. All right. But other questions we have here, people talking about flagship, and let's see here. Sidar says that Vigoro has dithiopyr and prodiamine. They both have the same mode of action. Okay, yeah. So I mean, if it has both those in there, you're probably good as far as pre-emergent goes. Let's see what other points we have here. So that's a great question, Moro. He says, did you ever try Central Turf's Jackpot Fert? Yeah, I picked up one bag last week. It has a smell of success, by the way. Yes, I actually did try it. We put that on Alex's lawn in the fall, and it worked really, really well. It's being like, being scatterbrained. I didn't like actually film it and tell you guys about it. But yeah, it's a good fert. It worked really well on his lawn. Yeah, no negatives at all. So if you got that at Central Turf, it's a good product. Those guys at Central Turf are really good. And if you're looking for an alternative site one, also check out Central Turf and Irrigation. If you're in Beaufort area, those guys are always willing to help out. And they can get a lot of the fertilizers that that I like to use as well. So yeah. But I'm glad that you tried out the Jackpot Moro and that it worked well for you. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Let's see what other points we have here. Bermuda Chris, what is the best soil test to get? Okay, so this is going to open a can of worms. I'm just going to tell you the one that I use, which is the one from My Soil. It is this guy. I like this particular soil test. So this is the soil test kit that I use for a couple of reasons. One, it's super easy to use. You get the results really quickly. The results are easy to interpret. They have a tool built in that allows you to like lay several soil tests on top of each other to easily visualize trend data. And I believe in the technology. I think I've been using it on my lawn. I've gotten really good results with it. And if you want to find out a lot about the details and all the research and work behind the My Soil soil test, they actually did an interview with Alan with Lawn Care Nut, I think last week or the week before, something like that, where they go into excruciating detail. They talk about how their soil test works, like the technology behind it, compare it to other soil tests, why they think their methodology is a good one, a viable one, and whatnot. So if you really are interested in that, Bermuda Chris, and you've got about an hour, and if you just want to geek out, let's see, this one, Bermuda Chris, check this video out. It's a really, really good one. The guys at My Soil did a great job explaining like all the most common questions about soil testing. The big thing I would say is, while I am partial to this one, if you pick something else, you go with something else, just pick a soil test and stick to it. Get it tested at the same one. Like, don't get one tested by like UGA and then get another one tested by Clemson and get another one tested by Oklahoma. Pick a lab and stick with that lab. So that way, you're using the same extraction methods, using the same methodology, so you can actually compare them. So the data you're looking at from test to test is actually comparable. My Soil makes that super easy, which is why I recommend them, and that's what I use on my lawn. And shameless plug, if you want to get a My Soil test, you can get one right here on the Golf Course Lawn store. And also, I put a link to that video, that interview with them. It's just really good. You should check it out. It's a really, really, really good video that will talk about all things soil testing. That I think will answer a lot of questions you might have, Bermuda Chris. They did a really, really good job. Mauricio TJ says, have you ever considered getting a certified professional turf manager from the Texas Turf Grass Association? I've not considered that, Moro. It's something to look into. I mean, I don't know what would be involved in doing that. I have a pretty busy schedule, so if I actually have to go to like a brick and mortar, that would be tough. If it's something I can do online, it's something I might consider. I mean, I'm a student of anything that I'm interested in. Like when I'm, as you guys could probably tell, when I get into something, I really get into it, and I want to understand the why behind things. So, yeah, I mean, if that program is something that can actually be done remotely, it's absolutely something I would consider, because, more knowledge is always good, right? Allow me to do a better job for you guys. So yeah, but great point, great suggestion, bringing that up. Let's see here. What are the questions? We have a question from Donnell Burrell. He says, what's up, Ron? I'm late. I have a few uneven dips in my lawn. When can I fill in the dips with sand and soil mix? Maybe after green up? Yeah, Donnell. So really, the best answer to that is you want to do top dressing or do any kind of leveling work when the grass is actively growing, so your lawn doesn't look ugly, or your yard doesn't look ugly for any longer than it has to. Like, you could technically, if you do a very light top dressing, I mean, you could technically do some of it now if you wanted to. I mean, if your lawn is beginning to green up, you could do something really light now, but it's going to look ugly a lot longer. So my recommendation is typically wait until like late April, early May, when there's plenty of heat, the grass is growing vigorously. Bermuda is in alpha domination mode. That is the best time to do any kind of major top dressing. Because simply for no reason, the lawn is going to bounce back a lot sooner by doing that. Let's see here. So here are the questions we have going on. Some questions around the 220E. Soupy says he bought a 220E. I'm guessing that I think the 220 is a John Deere, and he says an E, I'm guessing electric. This year, so I'm hoping I can commit half as much as you. Well, dude, here's the thing, Soupy. As far as committing, just choose wisely when it comes to your height of cut. Like height of cut is what pretty much dictates how much time you're gonna have to be out mowing the lawn. You go down to 3/4 of an inch, you can get away with twice a week, pretty much. Once you start going below that, and then you start getting on crazy man status where you have to be out there all the time mowing it. So just choose wisely, sir. Select wisely on your height of cut, and you can choose how much you have to be out there. And then use PGR. Use PGR, and that will help out quite a bit too. All right, I got to catch up on some questions here. I got some super chats I have to get to. Let's see. People talking about scalping it low. Sidar saying, yeah, it's crazy to see so many people going to Site 1 for CarbonPro G. I did the same today, bought 2 bags. Alpharetta Site 1. Is that your go-to store? No, my local Site 1 is in Buford. That's the one that's closest to me that I go to. But I'm glad that you are doing that and that CarbonPro G is getting some business out of it. And that you guys are putting down, you're drinking the carbon Kool-Aid. Because again, I started out last season. I'll be honest with you. I started out last season. I was thinking, it's like snake oil, doesn't really do anything. It's like another thing that just to sell products or whatever, doesn't really do anything. And so I just tested it. Like I literally took CarbonPro G, like their Mirimichi Green's granular carbon product, and I put it on the worst part of my lawn. The part of my lawn that no matter what I did every year, it struggled with as far as like just drying out, just not looking great. And without doing anything else, no additional water, no additional fertilizer, no additional anything, within 2 weeks, it went from literally being like dry and looking like, the part of the lawn that had no owner, like the unloved part of the lawn, to literally looking like the best part of the lawn. And I've got a video on that I can probably link here. And I can show you guys the results from it. So I became a complete believer last year after doing a lot of the testing between their liquid and carbon products. And it just took me a while to figure out a way to make them available to you guys. So that's why I don't really care where you guys get it. I mean, if you buy the stuff from the Golf Course Lawn Store, obviously I appreciate that. You're supporting me. I love that. But I mean, the big thing is I want you guys to use this stuff on your lawn because it really, really is good. It really makes a really big difference in your lawn care programs. It's just an awesome product that Mirimichi Green makes. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing that. All right. Let's other questions we have here. Johnny Bravo says, hey, I have those winter weeds that popped up. What is the best DIY store product to buy? Probably Image, because any winter weeds that you have, Johnny Bravo, are probably going to be cool season ones. So like Poa, this one called Bitter Cross, or those types of cool season ones that are like becoming a pain right now. Image will knock out a lot of those, and you can find that at Home Depot. And if you mix it at 4 ounces per 1,000, if memory, that's correct, right? 4 ounces per 1,000. You're not gonna smoke your lawn. You're not gonna do anything too crazy to it. It does take a little bit while to work. So once you put it down, it's not like Roundup. You're not gonna apply it to your lawn and then 2 days later it's like everything's dead and dying. It doesn't work like that. But it's a safe product that should do well in your lawn, well applied at the correct rate. And you can also get it in a hose end, like in a ready to spray. So you can just hook it up to your hose and you can do that. So you don't even need a backpack sprayer to apply it. So Image is what I would use if you're going to try and get rid of some cool season weeds in your lawn, and you want to get it at like a big box store. That is what I would go with. What other questions do we have here? Man, I'm running through. I'm trying to get off the live stream before 9:30 because it's like somewhat like Ben starts his live stream at 9:30. I don't want to impede on that. So I'm trying to get this done before then. Okay, so let's see. Charles Jackson, and he says, is it too early to mechanical aerate in heavy compacted soil? Thanks. I would say yeah. So it's a touch early, Charles. I have aerated in. I actually have aerated about mid-March before. I did that. Not last year, but the year before that, I aerated March 15th. So I have aerated super early. Before. The only negative to that is it just takes a lot more time to recover, right? So you're just going to have holes all throughout your lawn for longer. So the better time to aerate, like when I'm going to probably get mine done, is going to be in April, early April, is when I would recommend doing it. But you're in Jacksonville, so if it's your temps are probably hotter than where I am, so you might be able to get away with it, man. If your lawn is actively growing, then yes, go for it. Then yes, absolutely go for it. And doing it a little bit early is not going to hurt anything. It's just your lawn's going to look like you got a bunch of moles in it, for the time it takes for it to recover. So it just, the only thing I'd say is wait till your lawn is growing actively and then go to town. And that is a great way to begin to remediate compacted soil is hollow tine aeration. So that's the big thing, man. I mean, like humic products, humic acid products, like even some of the Mirimichi products, like the NutriKelp has some humic acids in it. The Essential G has humic acids in it, and those are great, like liquid or another that do aeration by stimulating microbial activity. Like that's a good way of doing it too. But for like what you're talking about, like super heavy compacted soil, like hollow tine, like mechanical aeration is going to do. You're gonna get a better result faster. I mean, there's a reason why golf courses do it, right? Like if they could just spray a liquid product on greens, they would just do that. But the reason why they use tine aeration is that there are a lot of benefits to it. Okay. Arcos, what's going on, man? Thanks for chiming in, man. Thank you for hanging out in the live stream. I appreciate it. That's a nice AZ lawn, a nice AZ lawn. That's a great question. Yeah, gypsum is also good for high sodium. That's a good point as well. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's see what other points here. I got some super chats to get to. Let's get to Wise Guy first.
Super chat received.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the generosity. Thank you so much for that. And you also did a super sticker.
Super chat received.
And he says, Peer Guy looking themselves in the mirror. Thanks for being you with hearts popping out of their eyes. Well, thank you for watching the live stream, sir. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me on Friday evenings. All right. Gary says you'll pick it up and report back. You're awesome, man. Good job. And if you need some help interpreting the soil test results, feel free to ping me here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Just shoot me an email with the results. Take a picture of it and send it to me, and I will do my best to help you out. The nice thing about my soil is that most people can kind of go through it and they can figure it out for themselves. In most cases, when pH is fine, and all you have to do is adjust the macro levels, or micros, then the recommendations they have are really good. For that. I usually get emails whenever pH is kind of out of whack and people need some advice on that. But regardless, Gary, if you have any questions, email me. I love looking at at soil test results, and I'll do my best to help you out, sir. So good job. All right, Bobby F. What's up, Bobby? Thanks for coming in the live stream. I appreciate it. All right. Dimitri says, I saw a grub in my backyard. You saw a grub. He says, what product would be the best to kill grubs? So I'll tell you my story with the grubs here really quickly. So I used to have an issue with grubs, and I did two things. For one season, I applied this product called Milky Spore. Drawing a blank. It's called Milky Spore. It's an organic product that you apply to your lawn and it builds up in the soil, and it takes a while to work. But the idea behind it is as it builds up over time, like it supposedly will continue to kill grubs for years to come. That worked okay. Like the thing that fixed my problem with grubs, where I've not had an issue with grub worms anymore, is whenever I got Caravan G. Like whenever I started looking around for a way to get rid of it. I actually went down to my local my local Central Turf and Irrigation. And I was talking to the guys behind the counter. I said, guys, man, I got this problem with grubs. What do you guys recommend? He said, well, you get some Caravan G, man. That will knock it out. It's a combination insecticide and fungicide. And ever since I started using that product, no grub worms, no issues whatsoever. So if you're looking to get that, you can grab it. Let me see. I think I have a link to that somewhere here. Yep, I do. Sure do. This is what I would use. And because I liked it so much, I've been applying it to my lawn pretty much every year as a preventative. So this is at Dimitri, and that product, that is what I would use. So if all you care about are grub worms, there's something even better that is as strictly as an insecticide called Acceloprin that Syngenta makes. That's a really good product. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's a better insecticide than what's in Caravan G. But the nice thing about Caravan is you buy one and you can take care of fungus and insects at the same time, and grubs at the same time. So that's probably the one that I would go with, unless you absolutely want to have the best possible option, and that would be Acceloprin. And I don't think I have a link to that. Actually, I do have a link to that. So if you want to try out Acceloprin insecticide, you got a little more to spend, and you don't really care about fungicide, then that one. So one of those between those two, that will knock out your grub worm problem. Let's see here. Jeff M says, Ron, I'm picking up my GM 1600 next week. Join the club. Congratulations, sir. That is worthy of applause. And yeah, Brett, I hope you read that. I hope you see that he's picking up not the flex head. You know, he's going with a solid head Greensmaster 1600. You know, that's the one. You know, that's the Greensmaster for those of us that, you know, smooth out our lawns, make sure our lawns are in great shape. We don't need that flex head nonsense. We can go with a fixed head, right? So good job, Jeff. Congratulations on finding one and picking it up. Actually, I'm just giving Brett shade because I'm actually jealous that he's got one of those, because the flexes are really nice. Okay, question here from Corey Binion. He says, I have a bad thatch problem on my Bermuda lawn, but I've applied pre-emergent already. When can I dethatch? So pre-emergent and taking care of thatch, two different problems altogether, Corey. Once you, assuming you've watered the pre-emergent in nice and heavily, so you've gotten either half an inch of rain or more, or you've watered it in, you should be good to go. So as far as we're concerned, as far as the thatch goes, we can take the pre-emergent off the table. That's no longer a thing. As far as when you can dethatch, really whenever the lawn, if you could do it now, but really I would wait until the lawn is growing a little bit more actively. I'm answering this as if it were me. Like right now, I wouldn't really dethatch. I'd probably wait until early April, kind of like around the same time that I would do aeration is when the same time when I would dethatch. So yeah, hopefully that helps answer your question. It's not going to hurt anything to do it a little bit early, but again, if you just want if you want to do it and get the lawn to come back and look nice as soon as possible, waiting a little bit longer till the lawn is actively growing, it's really going for it is a better recipe. But doing it now, again, assuming you were me, if you were my next door neighbor and you said, hey Ron, I'm going to dethatch right now, more power to you. It's not going to hurt anything. You're not going to damage the lawn by doing it now. But if you want to do it and get the lawn to recover faster, wait a little while. It's not going to hurt anything. Let's see. Sidar says you can't find the t-shirt I'm wearing right now on my store. Actually I'll send you the link. It's not on the store. It's on YouTube. It's actually fulfilled by Teespring. So let me go here. I'll give you the link. And then /store. I think this is right. Assuming I can type. I'm terrible about typing and talking at the same time. Let's see here. It's youtube.com /Ron Henry /store. That's where you need to go, Siddharth. But let me get this for you here. youtube.com. Yep, /Ron Henry /store. Perfect. This should work for you. Boom. Yep, I was able to type. I pulled it off, guys. Normally I can't do it, but I did it tonight. Yeah, yay me. All right, so at Siddharth, there. That is where you can go, and like the entire Teespring store of everything that I sell will be there. So just go there and you can pick it up. I just put it in there in that. I need to actually add the annotation back to the live stream stuff, but that's where you can go pick it up. If you get a shirt, I appreciate the support. And I like these, man, because this is the ethos. Actually, let me get you off the screen here so I can talk about it. This is the ethos of an awesome lawn, man. Like you get the sunlight, get good soil by like doing your carbon products, soil testing, getting the right things in, and then that stripe action, baby. That mowing. So those three things, that's the Triforce for any of you guys that are Legend of Zelda fans. So that's the Triforce, the Holy Grail, the Trinity of creating a good lawn is, make sure you got lots of sun, create good soil, and then mow, and mow some more. When you think you've mowed, mow one more time, and you'll be good to go. All right, Lawn to Learn, great late entry, but you're here, man. So that's all that really counts. I'm glad you are here. Let's see. What are the differences between the Greensmaster 1600 and the 1000 other than cutting width? I think, and here's the thing, I don't have the 1000, but I believe the 1600 and the 1000 are the fixed head units. So there's not a ton of difference between the two of them other than width to my understanding. The 1600 is 26 inches wide, and the 1000 I think is 20. 20 or 18, something like that. I'm not exactly sure how wide the 1000 is, but I believe both the 1600 and the 1000 are both fixed head units. Whereas anything that says it has Greensmaster and it says flex in it, has flex in the name, that is a floating head. That's like one of the really fancy, baller Cadillac mowers, like what Brett just got. But they both will do a great job. Either one is gonna do great. All right, let's see here. Brothers World, how passionate were you when you actually became passionate? How old were you when you really became passionate about the lawn and landscaping? So here's the thing. When I was a kid, I hated mowing grass. Like every Saturday, my dad, like my weekends, a lot of my weekends back in the islands. So my parents have some property on some different parts of the island where we'd have to go out and we'd have to be cleaning up bush. So we'd go out there, we'd be mowing grass and picking up rocks and just doing lawn care stuff. And I absolutely hated it. But you know what they always say? When you get older, you turn into your parents. And whenever moved in here, and then I saw the lawn, and then first it was being mowed with a Rotary for a short while. I was like, you know what, I really want to make this look nice. And I just slowly turned into my dad. And so I'd say the last 7 years is when I really started getting into it. And like anything else, it's all about optimization. Here's the thing, like my outside of like lawn care, I do martial arts, right? I train in martial arts. So like the difference between, I would say the difference between like a white belt and a black belt is like execution of the details. So the black belt pretty much does everything a white belt does, but just at a higher standard, it does it more correctly. So the difference between a person that has like a regular lawn and a person that has a really good lawn, and in many cases, is not that they're not putting fertilizer on their lawn, but they're paying attention to those small details and they're executing them better than the person that's just going to Lowe's and buying whatever's on the shelf and just throwing it down and praying, right? So that aspect of it, and the fact that it's like the endless pursuit of perfection. Like you're never going to quite get there, but it's always something you can always work on and try and make a little bit better. From my personality, it's a fit. Like I'm not, like the lawn looking super awesome is great, but like making the lawn look great, like doing all the stuff, doing all the research and learning and hanging out with you guys and making videos where I get to learn and share what I'm learning. Like that is the most fun aspect of it to me. Like the lawn looking cool, that's awesome. I love a great looking lawn, but the stuff that leads up to that is what I really enjoy. So, but yeah, to answer your question, like 7 years, because when I was a kid, I hated mowing grass. I just hated it because it's something I was made to do by my dad. Okay, we got a super chat here from Matt Mogul. He says,
received.
"Is planning on top dressing with 100% sand and doing a heavy CarbonPro G as well as overseeding. What order do I need to do these in?" Okay, great question, Matt. So if it were me, I would aerate the lawn. I would do a heavy application. Your heavy application you're going to be doing with CarbonPro G. I would then top dress with 100% sand. Actually, no, I missed a step. I would aerate, CarbonPro G, use whatever fertilizer you're going to use. If you're using like, whatever granular you want to use to kind of give the lawn a little bit of a nitrogen boost to kind of help it, come back a little quicker, I would do that then. And then I would top dress it and then do your seeding on top of that. So your seeding and top dressing can be, depending on how heavy you're going. If you're doing a very light top dress, you could seed and then top dress it. So in that sense, you're not going to be burying the seed. But if you're going heavy, that's when I would probably do the seeding after top dressing. So you're not putting like, a half an inch or whatever of sand on top of the seed. So that would be my suggestion. That's the order that I'm planning to do. And I'm still toying with the idea of either doing peat moss, or if I can get my hands on some of that soil 3. I'm thinking about that soil 3 as like a topper for the seed to kind of help things. Well, we'll see. I haven't fully decided yet what I'm going to go with, but that's the formula or the recipe that I would, or the way I would go about doing it, Matt. So great question. And we got another super chat here from Josh Habib.
Super chat received.
Mr. Ron Henry Merchman. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. Great show as always. Go heavy on Adesanya tomorrow night in UFC main event." Dude, yeah, it's going to be an awesome card tomorrow night. So it should be really, really good. Yeah, I think we'll see if Israel can pull it off, man. He's a monster. He's one of these guys whenever, because I also do point sparring, right? So you can look at some guys that are good at point sparring and you can say, there's the term we say that someone that's really good at fighting the cerebral, right? They can kind of see or sense what their opponent's going to do. Like Israel is like that. Habib is like that. Connor's like that. So it should be a good fight. Whoever, it's going to be, should be a good matchup. But anyway, back to line. I don't want to get you guys mad at me because I'm talking about fight stuff. But yeah, I am with you on that, Josh. It should be really good. All right. Let's see. You said Lawn Maverick says, "I put down dimension at a low rate and then received 1.5 inches of slow rain over 3 days. Should I be concerned with needing to reapply?" No, you should not. You should not need to reapply. It worked just fine on Lawn Maverick. Rain is the friend of pre-emergence. It has to get down in the soil to begin working. So 1/2 inch is fine. 1.5 inches of slow rain over a couple of days, that's fine too. Not going to hurt anything. Nothing to worry about. And if you'd like to, it said you did a light rate. So what you can do is, once soil temps cross 65 degrees, you can do another application of pre-emergent if you want to. It's not strictly necessary, but if you want to do like the split app thing, once a little bit later in the season, you can go again with another application of pre-emergent, and you should be good to go. Awesome, good question. But don't worry about rain. Rain and pre-emergent are a good thing. Let's see here. So Brandon says, "When do you begin post-emergence after your first application of pre-emergent?" Okay, guys, we need to have, seriously, we need to have, I'm going to have to do a video on talking about herbicides. Like we need to start doing like bad, you guys are all too herbicide happy, man. So Brandon, as far as post-emergence with your application of pre-emergent, you can technically do them together. Like if you did, like that video that I did on spraying prodiamine and Image, Image is a post-emergent. It's designed to kill Poa and other like cool season weeds, nuts edge, those kinds of things. It's a post-emergent. So you can do them. There's not really a limit of saying you can do your pre-emergent now and then you have to wait like a while to do your post-emergent. You can do them at the same time if the mode of action is similar to where if they both, like in other words, image gets watered in and pre-emergent gets watered in. So the two of those play really nicely together. There are people that spray pre-emergent along with herbicides that require surfactant. You can do that. A lot of professionals do that because it just saves them time. But if it were me, because I have the time. Again, I don't do this for a living. Because I have the time, I would do my pre-emergent, water that in, and then I would come back and do a post-emergent herbicide that has that requires surfactant or anything like that. Because then they're not stepping in on each other. You're not applying two things that kind of are competing in the way that they're designed to work. And then once you apply your post-emergent, your goal should be to grow a really healthy, thick lawn, because that's gonna do a lot for not having to put herbicides in your lawn. Because herbicides, while they kill the weeds, they kill other stuff too, right? They're not. You want to avoid or minimize how much herbicide you apply on your lawn. It shouldn't be like you shouldn't be doing that like every month unless you can. You want to minimize herbicides. Really, pre-emergent in the spring and fall is really all you should need. I'm good with like a post-emergent to knock down maybe some spring weeds that you didn't get, or fall weeds that didn't get taken out, or that your pre-emergent, your fall pre-emergent wasn't effective against. But you don't want to be applying herbicides to your lawn every single month. If you're doing that, that's a sign that we need to look at your soil. We need to work on your soil practices. But great question. But the short answer is you can do them at the same time. You can do one now and you can do one an hour later if you want to. No issue whatsoever with that at all. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. We're doing good. We're making good time tonight, guys. I'm trying to go a little faster because last time I got to the end and I didn't answer everybody's question. And that really irritates me. So, okay. Julio J says, I'm taking care of my first Bermuda lawn. All right, congratulations, Julio. It's a great lawn to learn on. He says, I'm planning a height of cut of 1.5 inches, and I scalped 2 days ago at 1.5 inches. It's starting to green up. Should I scalp again after at a different height? It's up to you. If you've went to 1.5 inches and it's greening up, I would just keep mowing it at that height. You're fine. You're good to go. There is a thing called a height of cut reset. So the idea is that if you're trying to go at 1.5 inches and you scalp to like 1.25, again, guys, this is really like nerding out grass stuff. I mean, you're really splitting hairs here. But if you're trying to maintain at 1.5 inches and you scalp below that, what you're basically doing is that anything that grows back is much more likely to be green. So going a little bit under your desired height of cut when you're scalping is a good idea. But if you've already scalped to 1.5 inches, it's already greening up and you're happy with the way it looks, I would just keep mowing it at 1.5 inches and be happy. I would not go through and scalp lower unless you really just want to go and scalp your lawn again. I mean, I don't like doing it because for my lawn, it's a huge pain. It's a ton of work and a lot of material that I have to haul out. So in your case, it sounds like you got a good result. I would just stick with what you got. All right. Dimitri says, soil test coming your way as soon as I get it. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. You're very welcome, sir. I like hanging out with you guys. Yeah, and just email me here, Dimitri, once you get those results. All right. What other questions do we have? Gabriel Henry says, hey, Ron, I've been using CarbonPro G every month since last season. Last weekend, I used a Sun Joe power rake the Bermuda to open up the canopy. Lawn greened up really quick. Any concerns if we get a frost spell? I would not worry about it, Gabriel. I think you're just fine. I would not be concerned in the least. Here's the thing. My lawn has been at half an inch, or I should say this right, just a skosh over half an inch since like late January. Now I'm not telling everyone to go and scalp your lawn in January or late January. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that if anyone's lawn was going to get damaged or hurt by that, I mean, I did. My lawn's been sitting at half an inch, pretty much, ever since late January, and it's been absolutely fine. We've had temps into the 20s since then, with no issue. So nothing to worry about. You're going to be absolutely fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. You are good. You are good to go. Wouldn't sweat it. All right, let's see. So we have a question here from Ken B Star 75. It says, is it better to level the lawn while starting over this spring/summer, or wait till next year after the grass has been established? Okay, so Ken, based on what you're telling me, it sounds like I don't have everything I need to answer your question, unfortunately. So the way you asked, based on your question, it makes it sound like you just installed the lawn. So if you had a Bermuda lawn that was put in, let's say in the fall, can you level it in the spring and summer? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely would go to town. No problem whatsoever on that. And I don't know, probably if you did one in like wintertime, once it's growing in, like once it's rooted and growing in really well, you can probably do it. Bermuda is really like once it gets some heat, man, it's going to thicken up really nicely. The only thing I would probably not do, and you didn't ask this, is I would probably stay away from pre-emergent for the spring if it's a newer lawn. But as far as leveling, if you're something you really want to do, what we might do is wait till a little bit later. So whereas I said, late April, early May is the time when you can start doing your leveling projects. If you've got a newer lawn, we might push that until, like, say, after the 4th of July. So you're going to be doing it like in the heat of the summer, but waiting until, say, July, that's going to give, again, I'm assuming you're dealing with Bermuda, it's going to give it plenty of heat, plenty of time. The Bermuda lawn should be growing in really nicely, and then you can do a top dress and you're going to be just fine. So yeah, we'll just give it a little bit extra time and you should be good to go. Great question. Let's see what else we have got here. Kai says, hey, Ron, can you talk about your mowing schedule? You always say mow often, but is it set days? How do you manage your time? So a couple of things. I like mowing. So the thing is, I am fortunate for a couple of things. I'm fortunate to work from home largely for what I do professionally. And I've got my system worked out that I can go out like over lunch, like between meetings. If I got like an hour, like around lunchtime between meetings, I can literally go out there and mow the lawn. I can't edge in an hour, but I can go out and I can mow the lawn in an hour. So as far as your mowing schedule, that is largely based on a couple things. It's based on the height of cut you're trying to maintain. It's based on whether you're using PGR or not. And it also depends on how much nitrogen you're giving your lawn. So for me, in the height of the growing seasons, and by that I mean like late April through late August, I'm going to be mowing probably 3 times a week. 3 times a week, so I'm going to be out there. And do I need to strictly mow 3 times a week? Probably not. But one, I enjoy doing it. But so I'd say 3 times a week is what you should, if you have the time, that's what you should try and make your schedule around. PGR, like using plant growth regulator on your lawn, will help with that, where you can probably get away with twice a week. I mean, for me, I always say once you get under, once you're at 3/4 of an inch or less, like you really need to be on that twice per week mowing cycle if you want the lawn to look good. Even if you are using PGR, I would still mow twice a week because your lawn's still going to look better. And so that's, I don't know if that's a great answer to your question, but so the best way to think about it, Cal, is it depends on what height of cut you're maintaining, whether you're using PGR or not, and how much nitrogen you're feeding the lawn. So how much is it growing? At a minimum, you need to commit to twice per week. If you can do 3 times a week, it's going to look better. Like if you mow your lawn twice a week, it's going to look good. If you mow 3 times a week, it's going to look even better. If you can mow your lawn every other day, it's going to look even better. But it just depends on how much time you have. I mean, once you get past 3 times per week, you really are getting to the point of diminishing returns. But at least twice per week is minimum. 3 times is better if your schedule permits. Great question. Okay, and LG, you got a super chat. Thank you so much, sir.
Chat received.
It says, look forward to shopping in the Golf Floor Salon store this season. And and it's true. And to LG's point, like I've already had, ever since setting this live, I have to tell you guys, thank you, people that have been buying. As soon as I set it live, and I did the Instagram post and the YouTube post, within an hour, I had 2 sales for the Caravan product. So I'm glad that you guys are liking the fact that the Mirimichi green products are available. I'm glad, because I kind of stuck my neck out there a little bit. I really when I was talking with them, I said, listen, I know you guys are, do you guys deal with like, stadiums and big facilities, and, you guys are pretty much more of the corporate world, but I'm telling you, DIYers get your product. We get what you guys are about. And if you make it available, people are going to buy it. They are going to use it because it is great stuff. So I'm glad that you guys are really chiming in and there's already people buying the stuff and making use of it. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully you'll use it more. And I will be putting together videos showing you how to mix it, how I apply it. I'm gonna do a video talking about CarbonPro G and Essential G, and I'm also gonna do a video talking about the kit itself, how to mix them and everything like that. So you guys are gonna see all that in detail. You'll have like a guide that you'll be able to go to and watch, but it's really not that hard. All right. Let's see what we have here. JG says, Carbon Kool-Aid. I drank so much of this winter, I'm going to try it on my garden veggies and flowers this year too. So yeah, JG, for you, in your case, like the Essential G is a great choice. Like Essential G for gardens and veggies, I'd probably like lean towards that more than I would the CarbonPro G, because the 35% of the coffee grinds, the reground coffee, that's pretty much like a very natural organic fertilizer. It's got some NPK in there, like trace amounts. Like that's a great way, very natural organic way to feed like your vegetable and flower garden. So like for someone like you, Essential G would be a great fit, you know? So it's so yeah. And if you use it, let me know how the kind of results you get out of it. So it should be pretty cool. Andre asked a question about dethatching early in the spring. I kind of answered that, Andre. I would wait a little bit longer, but you're not going to hurt anything if you do it early. It's kind of like it's along the lines of kind of like of scalping. You're thinning out the canopy. You're getting rid of thatch. You're allowing more sunlight, more heat to get down on the soil, which is allowing the grass to grow sooner. So you can wait till late March, early April to do it, or you can do it now if you want. And again, I'm answering your question as if you are in Georgia, like you have the same climate that I have. I don't know what part of the country you're in, but if you're in Georgia, if you decide you're going to dethatch now, you're going to be fine. It's not going to hurt anything. All right. Russ says, I just received my soil test back from UGA. pH of 5.9. This is just 10 bags of one of what. Okay, so here's the thing, Russ, if you don't mind, I will answer your question, but if you don't mind, email the soil test results to me here. Like send me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com with the UGA soil test results and the recommendations, and we'll chop it up. We'll get into it, and I'll give you some recommendations. I mean, UGA is really good. Whatever they're recommending is probably just fine. But if you're looking for actual products to fit the recommendation, I can give you some guidance on that. But it's without actually having it in front of me. It's really hard to just read through like the parameters you have there and be able to just without just being flipping and just throwing something out there. I want to make sure if I tell you a set of products, that it's something that's actually good, that is going to be a good fit for your situation. So please, if you don't mind, email me here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. If you email me tonight, I will do my best to get you an answer tonight. Since you asked tonight, I'll get you an answer tonight if you email me the results. Great stuff. So Tim is in. He says, you're late. Yeah, you are, Tim, but you're here. That's all that really matters. And Sunny Bermuda's in the house. Mr. Glorious Tifway 419 lawn. Sunny, I'm expecting big things this year, man. You know, you say you get the Tifway 419. You're carrying the Tifway 419 flag now. Now that my lawn is like officially a mutt lawn, it's like Tifway 419 in Arden. You are like the pure Tifway 419. So I'm expecting good things this year, man. Looking forward to the content. And let's see what we have here. So LG confirmed what I was saying. Width and weight are the only differences between the 1000 and 1600 Greensmaster. Great. Aldo Beltran says, have I ever been mistaken for Phil Ivey, pro poker player? I know who Phil Ivey is. I've never gotten Phil Ivey. I get Tiger Woods, which I don't see the resemblance at all. People say, you're just like Tiger Woods. I'm like, no, we don't look anything alike. I think they say I sound like Tiger Woods, but I don't see the resemblance. I don't know. As far as the way we talk, I don't know. Maybe there's something to that, but I've not gotten Phil Ivey. But no, I've gotten Tiger Woods, but not quite Phil Ivey, Aldo. But thanks for asking on that one. Let's see what else we have here. So Robert has a question about a triple 20. I have some triple 20 fertilizer like Miracle Grow. I want to use a backpack sprayer. How do I mix it per 1,000 square feet? All calculators work for Granular. Okay, so what you could do, Robert, if you don't mind, send me an email with the actual product you're using. So the Ron at golfcourselawn.com, because on the product it should say how many pounds of nitrogen are in like the entire nitrogen or the entire container. And when I have that information, I'll be able to tell you like how many ounces we will need in a 4-gallon backpack sprayer to get good coverage. Just having that's not quite enough for me to be able to give you an answer that's going to be actually accurate. So if you don't mind, send me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com, and I will answer your question. If you send me the email tonight, I will answer the question tonight because you asked in the live stream. So I will stay up no matter how long it takes me. I will get you an answer tonight. So just shoot me an email with that, and we'll get you a good answer. But make sure that you have the link to the actual product, because I need to look at the label and see what's in it and how much like the weight, and be able to give you a good answer. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Chris Condry says, we're winding down. He says, do you recommend going straight to a commercial reel mower instead of starting with a homeowner's model? It depends, Chris. Depends on you. Depends on what depends on your budget. Depends on what you have to mow. So like the commercial reel mowers, like the John Deere's, the Greensmaster, and I will put the Tru-Cut in that as well. Like those are really your commercial reel mowers. The thing with them is they're built like tanks. Like literally they are rock solid. They'll take a lot of abuse. And as far as like, at least when it comes to the Greensmaster and the John Deere, as far as like uncompromising quality of cut, like if you want the absolute best cut you can possibly get, buy a Greensmower like that. If that's your criteria, like which one's going to be the best cut, Greensmower, said and done. That's an easy answer. But the reason why I might say a Tru-Cut is a good suggestion, or something like a Swardman is a good suggestion, is because like with a Tru-Cut, like if you're dealing with any kind of slopes in your lawn, it's a much easier mower to deal with. Like a Greensmower on a slope, unless the ground is slightly moist, like slightly wet a little bit, so you can bite it and get grip. It can be a bit of a chore to run a Greensmower on a slope. The Tru-Cut has no problems with that. So as far as like one mower, I always say if I had to have one mower to rule them all, it would still be my Tru-Cut, and because it can cut every part of the property. It's easier to use on slopes. It can get up closer and tight to stuff without having to pull axles on and off each time. So with a Greensmower, you get an amazing cut, but like every time you mow, it's more of an event. Like you gotta wheel it out with the transport wheels and take the transport wheels off, and then you can also, if you want, you can also take the transport axles off, and then you can mow and you put them back on and put it all back together and take it back and put. So there's more involved with it versus like a Greensmower with like a Tru-Cut. You just start it up and just start mowing, and when you're done, rinse it off and put it away. So you are trading like the absolute best you can get and with that comes some inconveniences. So it depends on you, man. It really depends on what you're after. Either one is gonna do a great job. If you want my recommendation, Tru-Cut. For a Greensmower, I like the Toro Greensmaster. If you're looking for something in between the Greensmaster and the Tru-Cut, I would look at a Swardman, largely because they have that multiple head option where you can get like a verticutter, a brush tool, a dethatcher. You can get like multiple tools all in one system, which is very attractive. So those would be my recommendations. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Tim here with a super chat. Thank you so much, sir.
Super chat received.
You should love the channel. Keep up the great work. Almost all my pre-scalp and soil pH correction will be done next week. New Braunfels, Texas here. Thanks for the email with helping me with my soil test results as well. You are very, very welcome, sir. Here's the thing, Tim. I know we worked through your soil pH correction, so I know you'll do the correction, but remember, pH takes a while to adjust. So, don't if you test again in 3 months and it's still not exactly where you want it to be, don't be like, oh, it's not working. As long as it's trending in the right direction, you're doing the right things. It just takes a while to alter. And then one here from Lawn Maverick.
Super chat received.
He says, thank you, sir. Thank you for coming into the live stream and hanging out. I appreciate it. All right, let's see what other questions do we have here. We're definitely winding down. And when you guys get done with this live stream, definitely go over to Ben's live stream, The Lawn Garden. I think Alan's going to be on there with him tonight. Definitely give them some support, some love, help him out, show him some support to his channel too, his content as well too. Let's see. So Quiron Smith says, hi Ron, I saw your video when you applied Image and Pre-Emergent at the same time, but you used a backpack sprayer. What if I do not want to invest in a backpack sprayer? Can I still use my 1 gallon sprayer? Yeah, I mean you can, but you're gonna be filling it up a lot. So all you would do, Quiron, is you would divide the application rates I showed in the video by 4. So you divide them by 4, it should be like a quarter of what I did. And then because you're spraying Pre-Emergent and a herbicide with it, you really need to know how long it takes you to walk 1,000 feet, or for how long it takes your 1 gallon sprayer to output a gallon over a course of 1,000 square feet. So, my recommendation, if you can swing it, would be to get a backpack sprayer. Like you are going to get a better result with less frustration, unless you have a really, really small lawn, like a 4 gallon sprayer, like a Flow Zone or like a Chapin. Like either one of those are going to get you a great result, and with less frustration. That is what I would do. You can do it, but you're going to be filling up a whole lot more, and you just got to make sure that your walking pace is calibrated such that you're putting down that 1 gallon over 1,000 square feet. So yeah. So just the short answer is take the recommendations and divide them by 4, the rates, and you should be good to go. All right. What other questions do we have here? I think you have another. Credit has a follow-up question. He says, last season I had seed heads all over my lawn while mowing at 1 inch. Do I need to mow lower or more frequently? Yeah. So seed heads tend to happen whenever the temperatures begin to shift, Quiron. So whenever the like spring is beginning to end and summer heats begin to ramp up, that's when you tend to see seed heads. Mowing more frequently, mowing lower and more frequently can help with that, but also using PGR, using plant growth regulator, is something you can also use to suppress seed heads a little bit. So I don't know how you're mowing your lawn, but mowing more frequently, mowing lower, and using PGR, those three will help considerably when it comes to seed heads. All right, Eric Mayberry has a question. He says, spike or plug aerating? I do plug. I do like hollow tine because my point is I don't want to like drive soil down and compact it more. I want to like remove plugs so I have voids in the soil that like air, water, the fertilizer that I'm putting down, the carbon that I'm putting down has lots of places for it to go. So I am a fan of plugging or hollow tine aerating, Eric, for those reasons. All right. Let's see. Quran says, I watch BYD and Doc, and you are all in Georgia. I find it tough to follow your timelines. I stayed away in North Carolina. Is it safe to say that approximately 2 weeks behind your recommendations makes sense? Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks is probably a safe bet. Quran, I mean, especially once we get into spring where temperatures are like the heat is stabilizing, it's the temperatures are going to be comparable to where it's not really going to matter. Like, in other words, when it comes to like, say, doing your top dressing, like you can probably still do your top dressing in May as well too if you want to. Like the same time I'm doing it, you can do it. So the only thing I'd say you'd want to, there might be a difference is like on pre-emergent, and even that North Carolina is not that further north than where I am. So yeah. So yeah, that was that would be my recommendation. In other words, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Let's see here. Aldo Beltran says, will prodiamine help spurge or dandelions? It's a good question, Aldo. I'm not sure. I have to look at the label and see if it's rated for those two. I think spurge, but I think prodiamine will do spurge. I'm not sure about dandelions. Short answer to your question is I don't know. I have to look at the label and get back to you. I'll make a note of that and get you an answer next week. I'm not sure on that one. All right. Let's see what other questions here. We are winding down. At SMK, is it Mirimichi Green giveaway time? Not yet. I mean, we will do a giveaway at some point. I mean, now that I have the products, I can actually, I'll be the one eating the cost for it, but we can actually do giveaways. We're not going to do one. Not doing one tonight, mainly because I don't want things to go out too much longer and keep you guys away from getting on. Other YouTubers are going to have shows starting here in a little bit. Let's see what other questions we have here. LW50 says, hey Ron, I have 3 fairy ring spots that reappear every spring in my TIF 419 in Atlanta. What strategy would you recommend for treating those? I'm not sure what fairy ring spots are, LW. If that's a type of if it's a type of fungus, if that's a fungus, then perhaps using Headway G, like a good fungicide, will help with that. Short answer is, without knowing exactly what you mean by fairy ring spots, I'd have to defer that one till next week. I'll have to take a note of that one and get back to you next week. If fairy ring is in fact a fungus of some sort, then Headway G is what I would fairy ring spots is what I would recommend for that, because it's a great product. And if it is a fungicide, like if you already know, yeah, Ron, it's a lawn fungus, that's what it is, and you want to try out Headway G, you can pick it up here. And again, it's a great fungicide made by Syngenta. Not cheap, but the good stuff never is cheap. So this is what I would go with. And we'll do at LW50. You're still here? Great, that one. All right. Let's see. Let's see what other questions we have here. I think we're close. Dimitri says, hi Ron, thanks for you answering everyone's questions. You sure the best. I like to, man, because I mean it's fun. You guys take time out of your Friday evening. You could be doing other stuff, and you're deciding to hang out with me and ask questions. The least I could do is take the time to answer it, right? I mean, I don't know if things keep growing the way they are, it's going to become harder and harder to do that without the show going on for like hours on end. But I mean, if you guys are here and you're hanging out, I want to get to everybody's question, because you want to get if you are tuning in to a lawn care live stream show, you're obviously serious about your lawn. So if I have something I can do to help you get a better result, then I'm all for it. In worst case, if I don't answer your question, you can always email me, and I'll do my best to help you out as well. All right, Jonathan Brudeau saying, yeah, I don't look like Tiger Woods, but we sound alike. Okay, so there you go. So maybe that's what it is. It's the sound, not necessarily the look. Okay. Okay. So he said, I bought CarbonPro L. It treats 128,000 square feet. What's the difference between CarbonPro L and CarbonPro G? Completely different products. I would say CarbonPro L, Robert, is comparable to like the NutriKelp product from Mirimichi Green that you see in the store. But it has kelp. The CarbonPro L has kelp in it, has a little bit of iron, has a microbial package, has a little bit of humic. So it's a really good product. I'd say the thing it's most comparable to is the NutriKelp product that you'll find on the golf course lawn store. It is, even though the only thing that CarbonPro L and CarbonPro G really have in common is they got CarbonPro in their name. They're different products. The branding is similar, but they are different. They are very, very different in their formulation, how they work, what's in them, the ingredients they're completely different. All right, yeah, cool. And LWW50 said it's a fungus. I'll email you some pics for next week. Yeah, man, send me those pics. But if it's a fungus, my answer I can probably already tell you is going to be Headway G. That's what you're probably going to want to use. What I'll do is I'll do some research on it and find out what the optimal time is. Whenever you email me, definitely tell me when around you start to see that, because you want to get the fungicide down before then, like, you know, a few weeks before when you're going to see when the fungus normally comes in, to prevent it from being a thing. And, you know, Headway G is going to be like, that's going to be the one to do it. That will knock it out. All right. Let's see. We think we were winding down here. Karen says, thanks for all the answers. You're very welcome, sir. JG, thanks so much. Totally Anonymous has his last question tonight. Says, is the Tru-Cut 25 almost as good as the 27? They are comparable, sir. The 27 and 25 are both great. They're both great mowers. You cannot go wrong with either one. The 25 is going to allow you to get into some tighter spaces. The 27 will not let you get to. So that's the only consideration. If you got some really tight parts of your lawn, that's what I would consider a 27. The 25. And if you've got a bigger lawn, the 27 is better because you can make less passes. But both of them are excellent mowers. They're both going to produce a great quality of cut. And yeah, awesome. Let's see. Lee Farmer was saying, I was at the PGA Tour Invitational yesterday. I was thinking the whole time, this is what Ron's lawn looks like in person. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Okay, guys, we are getting to the end of the live stream. I appreciate you guys hanging out so much and watching. Please like and share this video. Like, you know, if you guys have not given me a like yet, definitely do so as we're wrapping things up. And also, if you guys are in need of some carbon products, we made the deadline. We got it done in time. You know, go to golfcourselawn.store. Go here and check out the Mirimichi Green collection, which has all your lawn care needs for all that carbon goodness. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I've got some questions, some research that I got to get back to you guys next week, and I will do my best to answer those. I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Get out and mow your lawn. If you're somewhere where you got green grass, get out and mow. Do something fun. See you guys next time.